Just waiting for some people to show up. I'm not in a good mood today. My hair looks a little messy. I just woke up. I was beat. Trial all day. Just got a notification from Lucinator and his new video about Eric. They're locking us all up. What's up, Otto? Oh, damn. I got 12 people in here already. All right. Radio Nerd, what's up? Shit, I'm glad you guys showed up. I wasn't even expecting 12 people. I didn't think anybody was going to give a fuck. What's up, Selena? Yeah, I was only there to file complaints against the police officers and they wouldn't help me, so I had to keep coming back. So then they wouldn't help me out. So they said that I kept on coming back and I wasn't telling them what I needed. So they said that was reason to ask me to leave. And yeah, I was found fucking guilty. I have a closing statement here that I want to read to everybody. If you guys are willing to sit through the boredom of listening to me read. But the closing statement, I spent a lot of time on it and I felt it was good. What's up, six of the state? Hello, Selena. Glad you're here. Is it fucking buffering again? I got my high speed fucking set. Yeah, I don't understand why my system always buffering. But I don't know how to file appeals. Have them contact me because that's the next step. Now I got to file an appeal. I've already ordered the transcript. It's gonna be over $1,000 fucking dollars, $4 a page, and it was an all day trial. Fucking buffers, huh? I don't know what the fuck's wrong with this system, man. I can't get any higher speed, you know. After I use up my high speed, it goes to low speed, but I'm on high speed right now. My month just reset. Well, I'm just going to read you this closing statement. It explains a lot to what happened. This is a case of power of suggestion and embellished reports in order to strip me of my rights and protect themselves from liabilities they are responsible for. Testimony has been presented on how I spoke about women's breasts. Evidence has been presented to explain that I never acted in any perverted manner as suggested. I was speaking to Records Department and presenting an example as to how totally transparent states are in comparison to South Dakota. Testimony has been presented on my request for pat-down searches. Evidence has been presented that in my mind, I feared retaliation in some way, a form or another, so to protect myself from malicious prosecution, I had a reason to request such an abnormal request. It was the actions of the officers that placed me in fear for my safety and freedom. I'm not your typical citizen with blind faith in others just because they are authority figures. I am a citizen with sharp instincts and firsthand knowledge of how authority figures abuse their authority to avoid accountability. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. As a matter of fact, the only people capable of corruption are people with power. I have proof of this. If I wasn't recording for my protection, then I wouldn't have proof that I needed to disprove their inflated police reports. Good to see you, El Chapo. Got some new names in here from my last stream. Lucinator, glad you're here. I just seen your new video on Eric. It fucking is so much bullshit that they're locking everybody up. What's up, Lacey R? I'm glad you're here. I was hoping you was gonna be able to make it. Man, they won't let none of us win no matter what. We could be right all the way through and they don't give a fuck. We are their children and we cannot correct their because they're better than us. They went to college or something. I don't. They're the stupidest fucking college grads I've ever fucking met out here. Idiots. We have been presented with a few examples of how I caused concern and created disturbances. First, it was the embellished report that I was hiding behind a 6-inch plant at the county administration building. In the video, you can see it is a little office, and at first, I was blocking the door, so I moved out of the way and stood next to the help desk and waited for my turn. Then at the public safety building and the jail, you heard complaints about my odd requests for pat-down searches. I agree that it is not everyday request, but also it is not every day that citizens stand up for their rights against their government and take thorough, careful steps to protect themselves. Just because I made steps to defend myself does not mean I deserve to be trespassed from public buildings. I was also blamed for delaying services to citizens. From the video, you can see that the three ladies speak with the civil department are being delayed by a man in line. I was not speaking with the civil department. I was not in their path preventing them from approaching the civil department. Then they used the public phone in the entryway that calls dispatch. I'm taken in the back hallway, and the next time you see the females, they are sitting on the bench. I never approached them. I never got within 10 feet of them. I never spoke to them. Also, I never spoke to anybody that they were there to speak with. I don't understand any logical reason to feel I delayed them or disturbed them. And then they are not here today to testify to their experience. Any testimony of delay or disturbance calls for speculation and has no grounds in a fair trial. Just because they have to wait their turn does not mean I unlawfully delayed them or caused them a disturbance. They want to suggest that just because we were there taking steps, wait a second. They want to suggest that just because we were there taking up space, that people were unable to pass through the lobby. Yet, in fact, you can clearly see two people were able to pass through the hallway while we were talking. They were no more blocking us than we were blocking them. Just because the ladies were there and trying to use them as an excuse to trespass me, that is shameful. I was not causing any blockade. I never requested the officer's services to come speak to me in the first place. The three officers became aware of something unfamiliar. Oh, no, wait, the three females became something unfamiliar because I was speaking with an officer flanked by two other officers while I was recording for my protection. I also would have taken notice. When officers are speaking to somebody standing together, it signals that they are speaking with a subject and not a friend. It looked like to them that I was about to be arrested. It was the three of them interfering with my project and obstructing my operations by standing in a wide group. I was not obstructing anything by simply recording. Many times, officers have now testified that recording in itself does not cause a disturbance. Lieutenant Diaz was asked why he decided that it was appropriate to trespass me. In his response, he replied that he saw firsthand incidents of alarm from members of the public who were attempting to do business there. This is in contradiction into his testimony and law that recording in itself is not grounds for disturbance or an arrestable offense. There is no evidence of any disturbance and tons of speculation of disturbance. All of the concern might have caused people to take notice or maybe cause confusion, but not a disruption. And the odd request and confusion was not because of my actions. It was caused by the persistence to correct situations caused by officers. The fact that I did not just allow them to bully me and intimidate me is not my fault for filing a complaint or investigating their odd resistance to resolve the complaint. If the three females were alarmed, it was only because Lieutenant Diaz interrupted me from conducting a lawful behavior of recording in public, and they saw an officer questioning somebody as if I was doing something I was not allowed to be doing. I will not argue that they were confused as to what was going on, but I did not delay them, and it was Lieutenant Diaz that made contact with me that created the whole situation. Had he never made contact with me, I would have continued to quietly film, which is not against the law. Many times in this trial, they testified that my recording had nothing to do with it, that trials are or video tours are allowed. So I did nothing wrong, but yet they still had to come talk to me and find out what I was doing, and then they didn't like it and told me to leave. But they're trying to avoid the First Amendment accountability, and they're saying that my video recording had nothing to do with it. It's fucking stupid. Had he never made contact with me, I would have continued to quietly film, which is not against the law. At the evidentiary hearing, Lieutenant Diaz admits that recording in itself does not cause a disturbance. I understand that he felt some need to take action, just as he testified, but the decision to trespass me and arrest me could have been avoided had he just swallowed his pride and admitted that the jail was wrong in tampering with my mail, and Officer Holt was wrong in threatening to trespass me from the post office when I reported it, and that it is not, in effect, illegal to film inside a federal building, and that his officer needed to be corrected for his mistake. And he could have swallowed his pride and admitted that Sergeant Hunt was also wrong for not looking closer into the post office incident and correcting Officer Holt. The fact that he could not admit that his officers was wrong and the embellished reports by Dawn was the sole reason they wanted me to go away. They wanted to believe Dawn's reports and use them as reason to trespass me. They did not conduct a thorough investigation. They jumped to conclusions. There is no evidence that she had any reason to feel I was acting inappropriate. In fact, the evidence shows that I was just engaging in casual conversation and telling her an educational story about public records. Is the signal still good? Is it buffering? I have many videos, and if you was to see all of my videos that led up to the moment of asking for a pat-down search, then you would better understand that I felt threatened by police officers for targeting me for exercising my rights to film interactions with police officers. All right, good signal. All right. By their threats of arrest, I felt threatened that they might plant something on me to arrest me and spite me for not being able to lawfully arrest me for exercising my rights. It is typical for people to not want to be held accountable for their unlawful actions, and sometimes they are dishonest to conceal their mistakes. I did not feel welcome with their threats of arrest. I felt threatened that they wanted to stop me from conducting a lawful business, of filing a complaint, and holding them accountable. I would not have had a reason to request a pat down if the department was not being so uncooperative and unprofessional. I knew they were looking for a reason to arrest me, and I didn't want to give them the opportunity to frame me. Being part of the ruling class, it is easy to justify unlawful activity by fellow members of the government club, especially when the alternative is to cast shame and embarrassment on both the sheriff department and the police department. I can just hope justice is served today and the corruption is put to a halt. Yeah, fuck the fucking police. What's up, Kathleen? Glad you're in here. Previous testimony and reports are inaccurate in the fact that I did not ask either of the ladies at the records department to pat me down. This is referring to their complaints. They said that I was asking for records department's ladies to pat me down, and they're not officers. But they work at the police department. I don't know who they are, but I never did precisely ask these females to pat me down. I said, where can I go for a pat down by any officer? If you play back my video, I'm pretty sure I published that one. Because that might be the same video. They said I was talking about breasts and my ex-girlfriend, and they said that was all inappropriate. I was talking about records, and they tried to make it sound like I was some kind of pervert. If you guys see my videos, you'll see that I was talking about records, and they completely fabricated their reports. So they're trying to make me sound like a pervert, like I'm going in there asking a bunch of girls to touch me. Lieutenant Diaz's report stated that I asked for anyone to do a pat down search. Anyone. I didn't say anyone. That's what he testified to. And I've got it on video, so I don't know why they're getting this confused. Video don't even fucking matter. You get all the evidence you need, ironclad evidence, and they still embellish the reports. Nothing stops them from making false reports and controlling the narrative against us. I can't believe this shit. Lieutenant Diaz states that I asked for anyone to do a pat down search on me. I asked for an officer to do a pat down and requested on where I could go for these services. I never specified or implied for a female or a non-officer to touch me. In the Diaz report, Diaz does specifically state that I asked for a female clerical staff member, that I was requesting a pat down search. I emphasize female because female under normal circumstances would not have been necessary to emphasize unless he was exercising power of suggestion. She was the one attending the counter. I can't help it that she was female. I just asked her where I can go for a pat down and who I can go to for this. I wasn't saying, hey, I want you right there. I want you. Where's the camera there? I can't find a camera. I didn't say, you pat me down. I was not demanding. I said, who can, where can I go? And then they denied me and I left. I didn't make a scene or anything. And they still want to say, oh, he's some pervert and he's trying to get girls to touch him. Completely fucking stupid. I proved it to the judge with the video and still he doesn't give a fuck. Just backed his officers, blue line thugs. It don't matter. Back to blue. Sometimes for odd reasons, people go to the police department for odd requests. It's just fact. But I think it would be odd to go to a grocery store and request a pat down search. I asked public officials at the jail and the public safety building where I can go for a request like that. 2 different departments told me to go to the sheriff's department. I knew I was in the right general area to request something like that. The fact that I was referred by 2 other employees to go to other departments fell on me as my fault for showing up. That is not fair. So yeah, I got this whole run around and everything, and all in every experience I had to go here and there and there and there. And then when I showed up, they're like, "Hey, he keeps showing up, and he won't go away." And they're not helping me. So, and it's not like I'm refusing to leave. They don't help me, and I leave. The only time I refused to leave was when I was doing a video tour, and they didn't like me recording. But yet they said that video tours are not illegal, and everybody's allowed to do a video tour. So then why did they ask me to leave? That's the only time that I refused to leave. But all these other times I went there, I was on their official business. I was filing complaints. I was asking for policies on the mail, and they were telling me go here, go there. And then after I've already done all this, I already knew that they were plotting on arresting me because they had already threatened to arrest me a couple of times. So then that's why I asked for the pat down search, because I knew that they were going to be like, well, fuck, this charge ain't going to stick, so we better fucking plan him with something. And I post videos every day on Facebook of cops planting on people. And it's not like it just happens every now and then. These cops are doing it every fucking day. And we know it, but the bootlickers don't fucking get it. They just back the blue and they feel like, well, if they planted on somebody, they had a good cause. That was a bad person and they couldn't get them or something. There's no just cause. I don't give a fuck. You don't plant shit on no fucking buddy. But I was trying to protect myself from being a victim like that. And I know I was being targeted for something like that. All SoCal. Glad you're here. Detained for over an hour, huh? You weren't arrested. You weren't committed a fucking crime. Yet they want to fucking push everybody around like we're fucking little kids. They don't believe in freedom. I never knew the duties of the commission officer until Kelsey Sakos from the mayor's office explained to me that I could take my complaint to the commissioner's office about matters at the jail. So what happened is I went to the jail to complain about the mail. They refused to give me a complaint form. So then I went to the mayor's office and I said, hey, I need to file a complaint. I thought the mayor's office would be the next step up, but they referred me to the county commissioner's office, and I went there, and this is all part of my runaround that they gave me. And then because that was one of the buildings that I visited during my runaround, they trespassed me from that building too. But I was there to file a complaint because they wouldn't take my complaint at the jail. Fucking stupid motherfucker. She even gave me their phone number. Don Rada referred me to speak with the jail commander, Rob Yantis, to file a complaint on jail employees. She also referred me to Matt Sargent in reference to the video records I was requesting. That's another thing. I was requesting video records to validate my videos. So I'm just requesting public records, and they act like I'm just trying to waste their time. And it does say in the law that you can't just badger a cop and waste all of his time and ask him a bunch of questions like what's his favorite cereal and whatnot. I'm here at the records department, and I'm requesting records on videos, and yet they still refer me to other people to get approval and whatnot. So, and then when I go speak to these other people, they're like, well, why is he coming to talk to me? And I feel threatened and harassed and stalked. These fucking people. Fucking people, man. Commissioner Office Manager Holly Hines referred me to the Chief Deputy Mueller. I had a civil conversation with him about a verifiable criminal complaint, and I never welcomed, and I was never welcome to come back after that. I had a civil conversation with the guy. We shook hands, and when I left, and he said he was going to get back to me in 30 minutes. He never did, and they trespassed me instead. They didn't want to get back to me and address my complaint. And the whole reason I even spoke to him is because somebody else called him to speak to me. I assumed that he was the next chain in the command. They're obviously trying to hide from being held accountable. Steve Little at the jail referred to me to records to request video of the jail lobby. I was referred all over the place many times. Each time I went to these buildings, I had official business. I was either there on directives of other city or county employees, or I made return visits because I was told that someone would follow up with me, but they did not. Over and over and over again, they tell me, oh, yeah, well, let me your phone number and your name, and I'll call you back. And they never called me back. They never followed up with me. So then that's why I had to go back. I'm like, hey, I spoke to you yesterday. You were supposed to give me a call back. You said 30 minutes. And they don't give a fuck. They know they've been caught up, and they don't want to deal with it. So they just trespassed me unlawfully. Also, I made a return visit because I was unable to find the information online as I was requesting a hard copy. Each time I finally received a hard copy, I did not return asking for the same information. They kept testifying that I kept coming back and asking for the same information. I did not keep coming back asking for the same information. The only time that even vaguely happened was I asked for a complaint form. They said go online, and I came back and I said I couldn't find it online. And then they gave me the complaint form, and then I left. I don't know why that was so fucking hard to begin with. Why they always just say, oh, go online, go away. Even the incidents where I felt staff was rude, I still politely thanked them and left without causing a scene. I didn't pull no Eric Brandt shit. I didn't pull no Eric Brandt shit for months. I start protesting now, but they deserve that shit now. Because after everything that they put me through, and they're hiding from their report, or from my ability to file a complaint on them. That's so fucking much bullshit. They're gonna trespass me for filing a complaint, asking for policies, asking for records on videos and other records, and they just say I keep coming back and asking the same questions. That was not the case. I had official business every single time. Lieutenant Diaz documented in his report that I would not give a reason as to why I wanted to speak with Sergeant Hunt. This is the sergeant that's in charge of the officer that trespassed me from the post office. So I went back to the police station to follow up with him because that sergeant was saying that it's illegal for me to film inside the post office. So then I followed up with the post office and I verified with the post office that it is not illegal to film inside the post office. So then I wanted to go back to Sergeant Hunt and follow up with him and say, hey, the post office said it's not illegal to film inside the post office. So I would like you now to correct your officer for threatening to arrest me for filming in the post office. They didn't want to go on record. They didn't want to handle my complaint. All right, let me start that over again. Lieutenant Diaz documented in his report that I would not give reason as to why I wanted to speak with Sergeant Hunt. That is inaccurate because in the video you can see that I did in fact explain that I wanted to speak with Hunt about something we spoke about, and that Lieutenant Diaz could not speak for Hunt. Lieutenant Diaz was not even there. Lieutenant Diaz testified that recording in itself does not cause a disturbance. Yet when he arrested me, he insinuated that I was causing a disturbance by recording. Also, he implies that my recording is generating concern and that my recordings is alarming. The Ninth Circuit has expressly stated that the First Amendment protects citizens filming public officials and the conduct of their official duties. That is Fordois, I don't know how to pronounce that, versus the city of Seattle. Fordois, FordYce, versus the city of Seattle. I complied with all lawful conditions, and they implicated new lawful conditions. Then these conditions should be content neutral. I feel the new conditions that I was not permitted to remain based on the fact that I was recording was discriminatory because they did not agree with the content of my journalism. If his officers are scared of the camera, then they are in the wrong business. I was vague with him about my purpose in the building that time of my arrest because I did not feel the need to explain myself and open myself up to possible retaliation or compromise the integrity of my story. In these reports, you can see how they already were doing everything they could to spin the narrative and find a way to have me removed. Over and over in the police reports, testimony, they use the words cause problems, causing concern, causing disruptions. He was angry. He was upset. I was never angry. I was never upset. I was never causing any disruptions or concern. I'm filing a police report and reporting a crime on an officer, and they're concerned. Brad Gardner gave some stupid ass fucking testimony. I wish I could have recorded this shit. I wish I could show you what happened today. I filed a motion and they denied it. They would not allow me to record. Brad Gardner is a little scared little fucking bitch. He's like claiming PSD or whatever you call it, where he's traumatized now because of that video that I went there and asked him about my trespass order. And then he specifically stated that I mentioned on the video that he pushed the panic button and then nobody came. And I found it funny or something. And now he's traumatized and he's scared of me. He thinks I'm gonna follow him home. The guy works behind a glass fucking window. He's a little bitch. Scared little fucking bitch. I couldn't fucking believe it. Oh, hello, Lady Miss Free. Glad you're here. Glad I got at least about 12 people here that care. All right, where was I? If his officers are scared of camera, then they are in the wrong business. I was vague with him about my purpose in the building that time of my arrest because I don't need to explain myself and open myself up to possible retaliation or compromise the integrity of my story. In their reports, you can see how they were already doing everything they could to spin the narrative and find a way to have me removed. Over and over, the police reports and testimony, they used the words causing problem, causing concern, causing disruptions. He was angry, he was upset. I can't control somebody else's soft feelings. It is impossible to defend myself on such vague accusations if no legal standard is applied. I am never going to make everybody happy, but I have still offered to the court evidence to disprove the allegations to satisfy any curiosities or concerns the court may have about any actual laws I may have violated. I hope I have made it very clear to the court that they failed to investigate before blaming me for exaggerated, vague reports of disruptions. This would be the equivalent of somebody being accused of a speeding ticket, and the cop that did not even witness the speeding. See, I was trespassed by people that never even witnessed anything. These were reports that was relayed to them, and yet these cops still arrested me. So, okay, so I'm doing a comparison here now for a speeding ticket. So the cop that doesn't even see me speeding gives me a speeding ticket and then takes my rights away to drive without a court order. They can't do that. They trespassed me and they never gave me the opportunity to speak to a judge about it and regain my rights and redress the grievance. They did nothing to allow me. Still to this day, I have nobody to go to so that I can redress this grievance with the trespass. There's no avenue. They never gave me any opportunity. Except driving isn't even a right like it is to access public property. That's argumentative. I guess people will say that driving is a right, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that the driving isn't even a right, but it is a right to access public property. They own a monopoly on the services. I can't go anywhere else for these public records and filing complaints on officers. So that's the only place I can go for it. And they want to trespass me for it. No license or permission is needed to access public services, and still they took my rights away without a court order. Whoever thinks they don't need a reason to trespass me, then shame on you. That is not the land of the free and the home of the brave. That is the land of the sheeple, home as the do as you're told slave. It is clear by Lieutenant Diaz's testimony that he is not qualified to understand the trespass from public property. He testified that he does not know what the First Amendment is, reserves the right to equal protection under the law, and that he is not familiar with South Dakota's affirmative defense for trespassing. Let me read that affirmative defense to you guys real quick. I don't have it handy. Forget it. But it says that the affirmative defense says that you're allowed to be there as long as you don't break any laws. That's pretty much it. I was there when the building was open. I didn't break any laws. I'm allowed to be there. That's the affirmative defense for trespassing. And they didn't want to hear it. And these cops don't even know what it is. They know what the trespassing code is. And it's I don't have the code with me, but it's like 28-6. And then the affirmative defense is like 28-7. It's the very next code is written. But they only pay attention to the trespass code. They don't pay attention to the affirmative defense. These are college-educated officers that run this fucking place. He also admits at the evidentiary hearing that he has never trespassed somebody from public property before. He has never trespassed somebody from public property before, and can't think of any time at all that he has ever executed a trespass. So this was his very first trespass, and he's a lieutenant. He admits that I did not violate any crimes other than refusal to vacate. He claims that there were victims, yet he did not bother to get their names because they were not relevant to the case. I have testimony of that. He said there was victims, but then he said they weren't relevant to the case. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. How does that even make sense? Lastly, he did not inform me of any acceptable alternatives to continue with what I was doing. That's kind of like one of the things in the police instructions or something. If they interfere with somebody video recording, there has to be reason for it, and then they have to give you an acceptable alternative to continue with what you're doing. They can't just stop what you're doing and say you can't do that because I wasn't violating any laws. Hello, Lady Miss Free. Hello, Carol Franklin. Red Horns. Oh, there's Red Horns. Good. Glad you made it. I was hoping you could. Yeah, these motherfuckers are complete idiots. They don't care what the law is. They just say it and do it, and then the judges back them up. The law doesn't even fucking matter anymore. Rights don't matter. Fucking ridiculous. This is not the America I thought that I was growing up in. It's a whole new America. I don't know if it's changed or if my understanding has changed. I don't know what the deal is. Still trying to figure that shit out. Don Hendrick, he's the assistant chief of police, testified at the evidentiary hearing that the fact I was recording had no grounds on their decision to trespass me, except for the claim that I was putting a camera in people's face. This is this thing that they always say, that we as auditors or whatever we call us, we put cameras in people's face. I tore them up on that one. I never put a camera in their face. My video shows I never put a camera in anybody's face. But yet they always imply that we put cameras in people's faces. They just try and embellish the report and make us sound worse than it is. None of us matter, absolutely. They just take advantage of us. South Dakota is absolutely fucking corrupt. Video evidence shows that I was in fact trespassed for video recording, even though he says that I was not video recording. They say that I needed a reason to be there, especially if I was video recording. They always emphasize the video recording part, but yet they say that I was not trespassed for video recording. They're trying to separate themselves from the legal liability of the First Amendment the whole time through. In the video, Don Hendricks makes it very clear that he would be asked me to leave if I continue to record employees while they work, which is a constitutionally protected activity, permitted activity. Gilk versus Knife. I'm not good at reading these case law names. Turner versus Driver, that's an easy one. ACLU versus Alvarez. These are all cases that tell you that you're allowed to record police officers while they're working. And I wasn't even just like being fucking awkward and just not talking to them and just recording them, you know. They make it sound like I'm a fucking weirdo and I'm standing there like a surveillance camera and watching them all fucking day long. I was doing a video tour. I never recorded anybody for like more than just a few seconds, just in passing, and then I continued with what I was doing. It's fucking ridiculous. He testified at the evidentiary hearing that he warned me that if I continued to remain in the building without a purpose, then he would ask me to leave. This is the conversation when I was there to talk to Officer Hunt about his officer trespassing me at the police department or at the post office. So I was there on official business. Yet he's saying if I continue to remain and I have no official business, then he's going to ask me to leave. I published that video. I'm asking him questions about trying to meet up with the officer and set up an appointment, and they're being very obstructive and they're not cooperating one bit. And then he fucking tells me to leave for not being there on official business. These fucking people, man. I was there to follow up with my complaint on Sergeant Hunt, and they made me feel unwelcome. I was denied the opportunity to meet with him and did not cause a scene. I responded by saying, quote, "Okay, that's fine. I don't get much appreciation around here, so I'm used to it." There is also no doubt that I was there to speak with Sergeant Hunt. My video proves it. That's why I was there, and he's trying to say I was not there on official business. Fucking people, man. And the judge eats it up. He doesn't listen to a fucking thing I said. There is a video, and it is in their reports, but they want to play this game that I have no reason to be there. Every single time I was there on all of the buildings, I was there conducting business. The only time I was there on arguable terms of not having official business wasn't until Lieutenant Diaz arrested me. Don Hendrick had no right to intimidate me out of the building by implying I wasn't there for a purpose. So this arguable term that I'm talking about, that I wasn't there on official business, I'm only saying that because if they're saying that video tours are not official business, but they are, I'm just saying that if that's what they're trying to say, then that's the only time I was there not on official business. All the other times I was there requesting records, I was requesting complaint forms, I was there to meet somebody on referral of somebody else to file a complaint. I was always there on official business. Just like in the video when I was kicked out of the city hall, I was there on official business with GIS, and then they closed their door on me real quick and then told me to leave, and I had no official business there. I was there to see GIS. It's completely plain as day in the video, and yet they still play this game all the time. Oh, he's not here on official business. He's just causing the disturbance. Fucking people, man. Every time they said disturbance, when the state was questioning them, they were vague. They said, oh, he's causing disturbance. And then when I asked them, well, what was the disturbance? And then the state would object every single time. I tried to narrow it down. What was the disturbance? The state would object. The witness has already testified. And then the judge would sustain it. So I wasn't able to narrow down, well, what was the disturbance that they're talking about? They were just vague the whole time. He caused disturbance, and that's that. Fucking goddamn fucking people, man. As for Chief Deputy Mueller, yeah, they only rule by egos. Fucking bullshit, man. I can't believe this fucking place. As for Chief Deputy Mueller, he could have looked closer into the mailroom incident rather than just ignoring me and trespassing me to save face. I know how hard it is for authority to admit when they are wrong, but the fact that I bring awareness to their faults is not lawful reason to trespass me from public buildings. Meaning, if I file a complaint, that's not a reason to fucking trespass me. I'm bringing awareness to their faults. Trespassing someone from public property is not a violation of the wait a minute. Trespassing someone from public property who has not violated the law needs to be done by a judicial officer to be a legal order, and I have to be offered opportunity of due process unless there is a clear and present danger. These officers are given judicial orders. They're saying that I can't come back. I need to leave. There's no immediate danger, and they're saying that I can't come back. Now, a judge has to do something like that, like where they take your rights away. A cop just can't just take your rights away. That's like the same thing as I was explaining, where they pull you over for speeding and then they take your right away for driving. No, they can pull you over for speeding, and then they give you a notice to go talk to a judge, who a judge then says that you can't drive. These cops are just saying, like, I can't come back, and they're taking my rights away without giving me any avenue to speak with a judge and explain my case and fight for my rights. They're just saying, no, leave, you can't come back. And I'll get into the expiration dates on this, because they're just making up the expiration dates too. So they're just dragging this out as long as they want. And still, I have no ability to redress the grievance and get my rights back to these buildings. All right. As for the second trespass, this was at the county administration building, the meeting with Brad, where he was in fear and I scared him. I would like to quote Thomas Jefferson. If a law is unjust, a man is not only right to disobey it, he is obligated to do so. I do not deny that I went there. I recorded it and I published it on social media. My argument is that I feel I had every right to be there under the affirmative defense, and also the trespass order was unlawful. It is illogical to think that I would be trespassed for life without the ability to redress my grievance about the order unless I am arrested. I didn't even get to address the grievance, even though I got arrested. I was only allowed to speak on the arrest, not on any of the validity of the trespass order to begin with. I had plenty of logical reasons to doubt the legality of the order. I did not cause any disturbances or obstruct any business operations. Brad got upset and abused his government powers to call backup, so I left under intimidation and threat of arrest. Brad misinformed in his report to Kent Holland that I mentioned that he was violating my First Amendment right, which means he knows fully aware of what was going on. I never mentioned anything about the First Amendment, and I was never given the opportunity to contest the order, but I was arrested for attempting to redress the order. I had to get arrested in order to exercise my rights of due process. I wrote this before I went to trial. I didn't even get I thought I was going to get the right to address the legality of the order, but I didn't. They didn't allow me to speak on it. They objected me and objected me and objected me. I would say on 80% of my questions, I was objected on and sustained. It was ridiculous. I had two people there in the case or in the courtroom, and they can't believe it that I was not allowed a fair trial to ask these witnesses questions and narrow down exactly what the fuck I was doing that caused so much fear. The judge allowed them to leave it vague that I was causing a disturbance and I was creating fear and just left it at that. They weren't obligated to explain any further than that. If I never went there, then I would still have this open-ended trespass with no due process. I still didn't get no due process. I thought I was going to get due process, but I didn't. I am still trespassed from the jail, and I have not been notified of any due process options to proceed with. I've been trespassed from 3 buildings, not just the jail. I don't know why I said just jail there. I still don't know when the order expires or if it even has an expiration date. What's to stop them from making up some more false reports and start this all over again, or doing something else, or filing let me skip that. I don't know what the fuck I was saying. That is why I felt it was my duty to disobey this order. These officers do not have authority to perform judicial orders with no due process. They don't understand that they have no fucking right to trespass me to begin with. So the trespass is not legal. So I go there to ask them about the legality matters of the trespass, and then they arrest me for it. I don't know if that makes sense to everybody, but I know it don't make no sense to no bootlicker or no cop or no judge, not in South Dakota. They are deluded by a God complex of authority. Even lawful judicial orders offer options to contest or appeal. I have no option to appeal or contest these trespass orders. Even I was arrested and I still don't have the option to address any appeal or due process. They said I had to leave, I have to go, can't come back, and they can tell me when I can come back, and they can just extend it whenever they want, and I never violated any crimes. And they testified to that I never violated any crimes. The only crime I committed was not leaving after they told me to leave. But before they told me to leave, I never violated any crimes. So why did they tell me to leave? It's a public building. I have every right to be there. I'm not arguing that that trespassing somebody from public property is illegal. I'm just saying that they trespassed me for the wrong reasons, and they failed to trespass me with the ability to redress the trespass unless I was challenging their authority and got arrested. The last part was another lie because I did not even get to address it even though I got arrested. It doesn't matter if I got arrested or not. There was no way of redressing the grievance for this trespass. It is evident that they did not plan to offer any due process because they never offered me a deadline to the order and left it open ended for their convenience to assert total authority over the trespass. Not even a judge can do that. I mean, if they take your license away to drive, there's a point where you're allowed to get your license back. It's not for an eternity, or it's not like, well, we'll let you know when you can drive again. We'll get back to you. It's not like that. They got to give you a deadline. There was no deadline on this trespass. At the time of the second arrest, I was clueless as to why I was trespassed from the county administration and the jail. I can understand why I was trespassed from the public safety building because in their head, they told me to leave and I didn't leave. But the jail and the county administration building, I was never told to leave. I was just trespassed and I never committed a crime. They admit that I never committed a crime. So I had no idea at this point why. And I still hadn't seen my discovery. I had no explanation. I had no discovery. When I saw the discovery, I was shocked to see all the fabricated disturbances of hiding behind a plant, the way I removed my coat in a methodical manner, the claim that I delayed the three ladies, the statements about my mental health, and the report about the inappropriate comments of someone's breast being exposed, and how I thought it was cool. She said I thought it was cool that some girl's breast got exposed. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story, but I was telling her a story about how transparent Arizona laws are on their video in the jail. And I was there asking for video in the jail lobby. And I was giving an example that even in the jail in Arizona, they had this live 24/7 camera in the booking, and it's supposed to be used as a deterrent that people can go home, they can see from home what goes on in the jail. So they're like, oh, I don't want to go there. That's what the purpose of it was. But they had to stop doing that because these girls got into a fight and one of the girls' shirts got ripped off and she got exposed and they're live on the internet. So there was a lawsuit for that. And that's what I was explaining to this lady. And then she's like, and you see it in the video if you see my video. I never said it was cool. I never implied it was cool. I was just giving it an example of how transparent Arizona is from South Dakota. And they don't want stuff like that on the record. They don't want any comparison that South Dakota isn't as good or as transparent as any other state. So they wanted to make the report sound that I was being fucking weird, so they changed the subject and they didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I ain't no fucking pervert, and these fucking people are so fucking stupid asses. Now I move to argue the orders are not law abiding and are void for vagueness on grounds that the code does not separate the obvious difference in public property from private property. It is common sense that I have no right to someone's private property, but I do absolutely have the rightful interest in partial ownership of public property as an American citizen. The code on the warning does not indicate an expiration date, meaning that the code offers only to private property. Because on private property, I don't really see a need to put an expiration date on private property trespass. Somebody owns that property, that's theirs. You don't have no right to it. If they want to go back to the police department and remove the trespass, that's up to them. But they don't have to give a deadline to where somebody's allowed to come back on your private property. That doesn't make any sense. But yet this code is written in the same manner as if they're talking about private property. So the South Dakota needs to change the wording on their trespassing to differentiate from private property from public property, because the law is written only for private property, not public property. And nobody should be trespassed from public property anyways, but if they want to argue that there is reasons to trespass somebody from public property, then they need to change the wording and it's because it's not treated the same as private property. Also, it does not offer any due process for me to argue my rights to be there. It is not logical to think that I would be trespassed for life from public property when I never broke any laws to begin with, and they cannot articulate a logical disturbance. Is my signal still good? Got 14 people in here. I'm glad you guys are hanging out, man. If any of you guys know anybody that knows how to file an appeal, I need some instructions. So pass on the word, share the video, whatever it is you got to do. But I need to file an appeal. That's the next step. I don't think this community has anybody willing to help me on this, though. Eric Brandt's in jail. He's the only one that was helping me out. Other people, they say on their live stream, oh, yeah, email and yeah, I'll call you. They never fucking call me. I'm telling you that they're all polite and shit on their fucking streams and they blow me off. This community doesn't give a fuck about me. There's no other auditors in here with huge channels, I don't think. Yeah, the people I'm thinking of, they're not in here. They don't offer me help. But on their stream, when I get on their stream and I support them and I give them fucking money and stuff, and you know, they're all cool in front of all their fans and stuff, but they're not as cool as they say they are. I don't get the help. I'm an outcast in this community. In South Dakota, I'm an outcast in this community with the First Amendment auditors or whatever the fuck we are. Activists. I'm a fucking outcast, all right. I don't know. I don't fucking get it. But if any of you want to prove me wrong, and if there's anybody out there that can help me with the filing an appeal on this, then pass it on. That's all I need. You know, I'm not asking them to do it for me. I'm not asking them to be my lawyer. I just have a couple of questions here and there, and I need a little bit of direction is all. And it doesn't take more than just fucking 5 minutes to ask a couple questions. But these people on their channels, they want to sound like they're almighty and they know everything. And then when you ask them, they're like, "Oh, I'm busy. I don't know." And they don't want to say that they don't know. These fucking people, they don't know. They want to ask you for money donations so they can pay for a lawyer because they don't know. I don't know why the fuck they're even out there doing this fucking shit and they don't know. A bunch of fake motherfuckers. Somebody who is committing a crime feels guilty and they want to be inconspicuous. None of that fits the description of what I've done. I don't think that there is anybody here in this room that believes that I believe wholeheartedly that I was not well within my rights to be in those public buildings. The affirmative defense says the person reasonably believed that the person permitted to license and access the premises would have permitted him to enter or stay. I had reason to believe that I was allowed to be there because I set up an appointment with the chief of police to be there. I had an appointment with the chief of police. And the affirmative defense says that I had reasonably believed I had the right to be there. Doesn't matter. I don't even think the judge knows what the fuck the affirmative defense is. That would not surprise me one bit. I had many reasonable reasons to believe I had right to be there. I was invited by the chief of police, who had authority over the lieutenant and the assistant chief of police. The buildings were open to the public. I complied with all lawful conditions. I strive as hard as I possibly can to be the best man I can be. And fearlessly correct others who are wrong. I hold myself to a high standard, and I feel the government should also be held to a high standard. Even if they are basically good, they can be better and taught something new. My ambitions are being misconstrued as a disturbance because of the public officials are not respectful to the citizens' rights and their egos, resisting being told that they are wrong. When you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. Manny DeCastro. Yeah, I hope that's not the... Yeah, I've heard that name before in his video. And if that's the one that defended him, I don't know about that guy. But definitely, I would like to hear from anybody that would like to give me some guidance. ACLU, I've contacted them over and over and over. And all they do is they just send me these notices that they send everybody else, and they're asking for money. So they're not even taking any interest in my case at all. They do send me notices asking for money though. As for the validity of the trespass notice, I don't understand how these orders can be considered legal if they don't offer opportunity to contest the orders. If it was private property, then I don't see any reason to contest. But being public property, I have rights to that property that would need a judge's signature to make it lawful. There's no judge's signature or court date for me to speak with a judge or defend my rights. Also, there is no expiration date. How am I to know that the trespass is in effect for 1 week or 10 years? Again, had this been private property, I wouldn't see a need for an expiration date. But this whole trespass experience has ignored the simple fact that this is public property we are talking about. No due process means a violation of my 14th Amendment. The government owns a monopoly on public services. They can't just make things up and say I can't come back. I have the right to access public buildings, not a privilege. I tried to redress this at the county administration building, but they abused their arresting powers and violated my First Amendment. I consider this whole experience to be cruel and unusual in violation of my Eighth Amendment. The unsigned ticket specifically states that I do not have a court date. So they claim that they served me with this ticket, yet they didn't serve me with the ticket. You can see in the video, the one with the bang bang bacon bitch, she gives the ticket to the guy that works at the desk at the jail in booking, and then she comes to talk to me about it. She never gave me this ticket. I was never served with this ticket. There's no signature on this ticket that I received it. But yet they're trying to say that I was served with this ticket. I was never served with this warning ticket. Everything on the ticket is referring to vehicle information, traffic violations. All of the instructions on the back of the ticket refers to vehicle accidents, traffic violations, and safety mechanical conditions. None of it pertains to criminal behavior not associated with traffic. It would not seem logical that someone receiving a criminal complaint would get a traffic ticket. This leads me to believe that some other official form should have been used that offers proper follow-up or procedure, including on the summons to appear in court to protest the criminal complaint. So these people that are giving this tickets, they're allowed to fucking go to court and speak about it and defend themselves. I got this ticket. It's just a warning. So because it's a warning, there's no court date and there's no signature that I even got this ticket. I never refused to sign it. I never got it. You can see it in the video. It was never given to me. To my understanding, it is not proper to use a warning ticket to cite a criminal non-traffic violation. If I am wrong, then it still gives doubt as to why I was given a judicial order by a police officer with no due process to defend my rights to access public property. I was never given the opportunity to inspect the ticket or sign it. No proof has been presented that I was ever even served the summons. If I was served with the ticket, then I would have the right to ask questions about the ticket and clarify any confusion. I never even seen the ticket. So when somebody gets a speeding ticket or something, the officer asks you, do you have any questions or whatnot? I didn't even get to see this ticket to ask those questions. The state's example, I'm gonna skip on that one, but they explained it that this case was similar to Sheets versus Punta Gorda in Florida. They have the right to trespass people from public property, and there's a couple of standards that they have. There's 2 elements that they have to comply by. They have to be viewpoint neutral. They were not viewpoint neutral because they trespassed me for filming, and they admitted that other people had been in there filming, but they wasn't trespassed, so they're not being viewpoint neutral. They tried to use this at the evidentiary hearing, but it doesn't even pertain. So I didn't even mention this actually at the trial, and the judge never mentioned it either. I understand that The law states that government buildings may preserve the property for which it is lawfully dedicated. That means I can't just go there and ask them what their favorite cereal is and what their wife's name is and all this stupid stuff. You have to be there because they preserve the property for what it is lawfully dedicated. It is not lawfully dedicated for them to tell you their life stories. So let me start that over again. I understand that the law states that government buildings may preserve the property for which it is lawfully dedicated. I wasn't there to take a nap or play poker. I have video-based platform with over 1,000 viewers on YouTube. I am an investigative community service journalist. Among many other things, I was investigating crimes. I was educating my viewers on police responses to filing complaints, jail mail policy, and collecting public content on display for the public in the form of flyers on the walls and pamphlets that are there free for the public to take. It is unreasonable to expect me to do these things without a camera or from the sidewalk out front. So I had every right to be there. You know, the building is there for what it is lawfully dedicated to be there for. They have flyers on the wall with information on mental health services and whatnot. And the government doesn't have commercials that advertise this stuff. The only advertisement is at the police station in the form of flyers and pamphlets and stuff that they have on the desk and that they hang on the wall. So the only way for me to even know about these services is to go to the police department and do a video tour of the building. It's the only way to collect that information. And then they want to trespass me because I'm there video recording. It doesn't make any sense. And then they have so much information on the walls that it would take me all day to stand there and read everything, all the fine print and whatnot. Like if you go to the post office and try and read poster 7 and stand there and read it, it's going to take you an hour. So it makes sense to go there and take a picture of it, video record it, and then you can go home and study it and you can record it and you can read it over and over and over until it makes sense to you. To read poster 7 and stand there to read it one time would take you an hour, but to stand there and understand it would take you all fucking day. So it makes sense that they allow you to use a video recorder to record this stuff, and that's your form of taking notes, and then you can go home and study it. But they want to trespass me because they're scared of cameras. Collecting information in the form of posters on the walls, pamphlets on the desks, in my opinion, is official business, and they never denied that. They never denied that public tours are official business and that I was allowed to do that. If it wasn't official business, then going there to collect these pamphlets without a camera would also be official business. So I'm saying that with a camera or without a camera to look at the walls and the pamphlets and the information on the walls, it's official business either way, with a camera or without a camera. The information on the walls is a form of communication and making the property's partial intentions for communications for the public and giving me the authority to go there to view and collect the communications. So I think what I'm talking about here is the time, place, and manner, where if it's a public forum, if it's a partial public forum, or if it's not a public forum at all. And public forum means it's open to all communications. There's no limits or restrictions. Partial means that there's limitations to what you're allowed to speak to about. Like if they're holding a meeting and it has to do with police conduct, then you can't go there and protest what your favorite cereal is or whatnot. You know that the limited public forum means that you have to stay on topic. And so what I'm trying to explain here is that they put stuff on the walls. It's a form of information. It makes it a kind of a I forget what the public forum was that I just said. And then they also have art and stuff in there that they hang from with kids in the area, and that is also a form of freedom of speech. So that also changes the time, place, and manner. So it's not like it's not a public forum because they do have art hanging there, and that's a freedom of speech, is protected by the First Amendment. Art is. So they're okay with all this other stuff with the art hanging on the walls, and they change it out and they put different art. It's all nice and cool, but the police station does that. The jail doesn't. The jail doesn't have any form of freedom of speech on the walls and whatnot. And the county administration building is just for car tags and whatnot. They don't have little kids' pictures and stuff hanging all over. But the police department does, and that's where I was at video touring. So it changes the time, place, and manner restrictions. This information on the walls is a form of communication and makes the property partial intention for the communication with the public and giving me authority to go there and view and collect the communication. The fact that I was recording has no grounds on my actions. They are the ones supplying the information for the public, so I consider that to be official business to go there and collect that information. On the day of my arrest, I was there collecting B-roll footage and public information. You don't get to see a good example of this because I was quickly interrupted twice. My vague response to Deputy Schmidt and Lieutenant Diaz was because I feel I have no obligation to explain to officers, especially after they were being so uncooperative with me and treating me like I'm undesirable. To this day, my story has still been obstructed. I still withhold information. Also, I have no obligation to speak with police, especially when they are so unwelcoming and uncooperative. They know I was there investigating a crime and covering up involvement in the jail and the post office. And they are desperate to find a way to get rid of me rather than just correct their mistakes and face the consequences. I never requested Lieutenant Diaz's assistance, and his interruptions was not wanted. He was obviously looking for a reason to intimidate me into leaving. So I did not feel he deserved a full explanation, nor did I feel any of my explanations would pacify his intentions. They admit that video tours are permitted and an appointment is not needed, yet they want to arrest me for recording. You can see from the video that I am conducting a tour of the building and recording the information on the walls. The focus of my visit was not to record staff or interfere with them. Even if I was there to record staff, I could record them if I want to. But I'm just trying to explain that I wasn't there intentionally trying to bait them into some kind of distraction or something. I was just there doing a video tour, collecting the public information off the walls. They have one of those boxes where you deposit your pills that you don't need anymore or whatnot. They just use that to plant on people, but yeah. But nobody has any way of knowing how to get rid of these pills if they wanted to use that service, unless somebody goes there and does a tour and publishes it online, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Well, now you know, and that's why I do this. That's the reason we're allowed to go there and collect that public information. All right. The focus of my visit was not to record staff or interfere with them. Obviously, they abused their authority to remove me. The reason I chose arrest is because that is not the first time I was intimidated with leaving a public building under threat of arrest. The last time I was not given any due process or opportunity to challenge their orders. So yeah, I was threatened with arrest at least twice that I could think of, and I was not given any due process where I could challenge their authority. So my only way to challenge it was to just go back. You know, I can't be expected to just leave and never come back. I have to have due process that allows me an explanation or to defend my rights, and they never gave me the opportunity to defend my rights. My only option to preserve my rights was to accept arrest. If I had left under threat of arrest again, I never would have any form of due process. I turned around and put my hands behind my back so that they would not have any reason to use force And with their intimidating actions, I felt they were itching to make me look like the bad guy any way possible. All right, now I get into the explanation of art here on the walls. Art is a form of free speech, and the building I was arrested in has been known to present art. Also, the building has a display case of historical items and photos. It's kind of like a little mini museum for a police department where it has old badges and old handcuffs and pictures of old cops that they respect and whatnot. So it makes sense that you're allowed to go there and video record this stuff because they want you to go there and look at it, but it doesn't make sense that you can't take pictures of it. So that changes the time, place, and manner that I was talking about. That you're allowed to go to these places and video record. It makes sense. These facts lead me to believe that the building is also welcoming to the public viewing and photography, making the building public forum, and they must abide by content neutral guidelines. I was arrested in the very same public lobby that the art and historical display cases displayed. If the public safety building is not considered to be public forum, in their opinion, they are the ones that are inviting the public to be there and record by displaying items that are typically recorded and further shared with the public. So they have this stuff there, this historical items and stuff in this display case for everybody to look at when they're there. And then they want to say that, I don't know, that you can't go there and record it. I don't know. They didn't say that, but they're trying to imply that they have a problem with cameras or they have a problem with only my cameras. It's not content neutral. They even provide lighting and pointing at the displays. So they have the display cases with lighting on it so that people can go there and look at it. The jail does not have displayed art, and the county administration building does not display art. Only the public safety building does, meaning that on those grounds, the public safety building has different public forum expectations. I am not being blamed for recording for no reason in these buildings. I had official business. So it's official business to go there and record these display cases that they have there for the public to view. So it goes into the time, place, and manner restrictions that I was talking about. On the day of my second violation at the county administration building, I was there to contest the order. I had the right to speak, to question and clarify. I have the right to ask questions to clarify. That's what I meant to say. There is no reason to follow up with a traffic warning. No rights have been removed. But for public property trespass warning, there are rights being obstructed, and that would make it necessary or optional to follow up to protect those rights. A warning traffic ticket does not seem appropriate for a public trespass warning. There is a difference in issuing a private property trespass over a public property trespass because citizens have right to public property and no trespass. Let me start that over. There is a difference in including private property trespass over public property trespass because citizens have the right to public property, and to trespass someone from public property would need an option to due process. So I'm just referring that if you get a traffic ticket warning, they don't take any rights away from you. But if you get a traffic ticket warning for trespass, then they do take your rights away. So there's a difference between the warnings here, and it doesn't make any sense to me. None of what I have said fully explains what I was doing at the precise moment when the lieutenant asked me to leave. It is a complicated explanation unless you are a journalist. I am a citizen community journalist. I was tour inspecting the building and collecting public information on public services. Also, I was collecting B-roll footage for a story I was working on. Completely passive behavior and not causing a disturbance, just as officers have testified that recording does not cause disruptions and and it was not the reason I was trespassed. If I am not allowed to visit the building, then I would have no idea what public information is available, which I'm going back into like they don't have commercials and stuff for this. So if I'm not allowed to go there, how am I supposed to know what services they offer? Recording and publishing these tours are no way for me to take is a way for me to take notes and to promote public programs that the public may not know about. Nowhere in my video do I see public information on human trafficking, the 211 helpline center, or the crisis center. It isn't until my first visit with the appointment with the Chief Deputy Mueller and Assistant Chief Police Don Hendrick when I finally find the information on these programs. Citizens would have to wander through the building all the way to the fourth floor in order to find the informational pamphlets for the public to take and read. If someone is looking for help from their government and don't know what services they provide, and the staff is being uncooperative, it is up to them to investigate for themselves. So, then they don't cooperate with me and they don't tell me what services they provide. They don't even want to give me a complaint form. So I would have to go all the way up to the fourth floor to finally find this information on the CARE program, the human trafficking program. And that gives them plenty of opportunity to stop people and be like, hey, what are you doing? What are you here? And if you don't lick their boots, then they tell you to leave. But they have information on public information that people need to access help for their mental health or whatnot. And it's all the way up on the fourth floor. So you have to jump through all their hoops for somebody looking for mental help to go all the way up to the fourth floor, which I'm sure that this program has never helped anybody like that. The CARE program is more for people that are like forced to go there. People can't go there on because they want to go there because they have no way of finding this information all the way up on the fourth floor. The government does not promote their services through commercials. That is for private businesses. I would have no idea that the CARE program even exists unless I was there to see the flyers. If I was to call the department and ask them what services they provide, the list is too long. They are likely to overlook the CARE program. Flyers, since it is not service they are personally supplying. So they don't provide services for the CARE program. They only supply advertisement for the CARE program. They only promote awareness of the program, but I can never be aware of this if I can't go there to see the flyers. The information is not accessible to the public if we were not welcome to look for it. The information is not accessible to the public if I'm not allowed to go there and look for it. I was even given their public services a platform for the community to see their services they offer. I was not legitimately bothering anyone. What does it say about the state of South Rapid City, South Dakota law enforcement that the presence of a camera must be extinguished by the taking of freedom? They imply in their reports that I might be mentally unstable, yet they keep the information for the mentally unstable on the fourth floor and are not welcoming to the public for them to find their way up to the fourth floor to find the program information. So every time I did my video tours, I never made it past the first floor. I went there 2-3 times and I never made it past the first floor. So there's no way that I ever found this information on the CARE program on the fourth floor until almost a year later when I made an appointment and they finally granted my appointments. So that's when I was recording in there and I had my appointment. I'm like, oh, well, look at this. This is interesting. I've never seen this before. And this is for the care for the mentally unstable. There's human trafficking information on there. And they're not welcoming to the public to make it up to the fourth floor to even find this information. So it's pointless that they even have this information. They claim I am unstable, yet they never contacted their ADA coordinator. The ADA coordinator would know services I need if I was truly mentally unstable. Instead, they trespassed me for being in search of help and services provided to the public and keep that information on the fourth floor where they can intercept and remove anybody that might benefit from those services. I still have like 3 pages here. I'm a fucking hour and a half into this. Hello, Soccer Mom, Zombie Enforcement Bureau. Glad you guys can make it. Jason Rogers. Carolyn Franklin, glad you're still here. Yeah, cops ain't lawyers. They can't make decisions about laws. Yeah, it's a judicial order to give a law, or to take your rights away. That's why they can't pull you over and give you a speeding ticket and take your license away. The judge has to do that. They cannot take. You guys are right. They cannot make a legal decision. It's judicial orders. Well, I'm up to 15 people in here. 15 thumbs up. I appreciate everybody. I really do. I didn't think I was gonna get but maybe 5 people to listen to me read this boring ass fucking closing statement. I hope you guys are at least learning something. I'm not the best reader, but I hope you guys learn something for that they can't just trespass people from public property without giving due process. They can and they do, but they shouldn't. And now I need to file an appeal, and I don't know how to do it. I've never filed an appeal before. And if anybody knows how to file an appeal, have them contact me. I'm not asking them to do the work for me. Uh, I can do the work myself. I've done all this work. I defended myself. The 4 public defenders withdrew from the case, and I've been requesting to defend myself for almost a year now, and they forced public defenders on me. I have the transcripts that says that I want to represent myself. I'm not filling out that form. The next time I show up to court, there was a new public defender there, and then I wasn't allowed to speak for myself. And then these public defenders was waiving time, and so that I didn't get a 180-day speedy trial right. This has been over a year now, and I had the right to a 180-day speedy trial. And these public defenders that I did not want, that I did not ask for, were waiving time. So this dragged on and on and on and on. And so they violated my 180-day speedy trial right. And I wrote all my own motions, and I put that in the motion that they violated my 180-day speedy trial right, that we have the right to go to trial within 180 days. And it's been over a year now. Fucking ridiculous, man. So I've done a lot of my own work. I wrote a lot of my own motions. I'm not asking for anybody to do my appeal for me. I just need a little bit of guidance. If anybody knows anybody that's filed an appeal, and I'm just kind of trying to do this to prove to myself that nobody's gonna help me out anyways. I'm asking for the help from everybody in here. If anybody knows anybody that can help me out and give me some guidance and just be a good citizen to our community of our activism to help me out and fight this cause. If anybody knows anybody, or if everybody's just fucking full of shit in this community. Because if everybody's full of shit in this community, I'm fucking done with it. I'm going fucking yeah, I ain't gonna say what I'm doing, but I'm fucking done. It is not ridiculous for members of the public to think authority makes mistakes and abuses their power at times. If I felt I was going to be framed or planted with contraband, then yes, that would create odd requests. But the fact does not fall on me, or the fault does not fall on me for being the victim of their mistakes. I did not know what else I could do to avoid being set up for simply needing to access my post office box. So what happened, what I'm talking about here, is they unlawfully gave me an unlawful order to leave the post office because I was video recording. You're allowed to video record in the post office. I have a P.O. box there, and they told me to leave. So I needed to go check my mail. So I thought that I was going to go there, check my mail, and get arrested, and they're going to be like, well, this isn't going to, oh, sorry, I got a burp. So I thought that they were going to be like, well, in the long run, this isn't going to stick. So they're going to have to plant something on me. So I was thinking that they were going to plant something on me to make the charges stick just because they're fucking ego fucking bastards. So that's why I wanted to go there and ask for the pat down, because they wouldn't expect me to ask for a pat down before I went to the post office. Because if I had went to the post office and I got arrested and then I had something on me, which I thought they were going to plant something on me, then it wouldn't make any sense in the long run that I got patted down and then I was video recording the whole time and I didn't stop by no crack house or anything, and then all of a sudden I got crack on me. So that's why I asked to be patted down before I went to the post office, because they were already threatening to arrest me. But I had to go there to check my mail, and they didn't tell me when I can go back. That's the thing with these trespasses. They said, well, you need to leave. Well, when the fuck can I come back then? They don't tell me this stuff. So when I go back, I'm expecting to get arrested, but I can't just give up on my mail. I got bills and shit that I need to fucking collect. They don't understand that we need those services, and they can't just take those services away from us. And I never violated a crime even. I did not know what else to do. I did not know what else I could do to avoid being set up for simply needing to access my PO box. But I did know I was being trespassed or targeted for arrest, and I never broke a law. I feel tired. My fucking reading is no good right now. And I record because I know how authority controls the narrative to justify their actions when their actions are in question. I was hesitant to explain why I was requesting the pat down because it would then put my defense operations at risk. But ultimately, I did explain, and then I left. I told him why I wanted the pat down. I told him I felt that I was being targeted to being framed, and then they denied me because they're just bastards. And then I left. I didn't leave under fucking Eric Brandt type protest. I wasn't hollering around. I was like, okay, cool, man. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. And then they still report that I was causing a disturbance for asking for a pat down search. But it's not my fault that I felt like I was being targeted for being framed. These fucking people want to pass fucking blame on me for everything, and they're the ones that are fucking up. I even cooperated by answering all of their questions, and I left without delay or any fuss. So I even explained to them that I feared that I was being framed or targeted for arrest. I had every reason to believe that they wanted to arrest me for not submitting to their authority and allowing them to violate my rights at their convenience. I feared that they knew the trespass charges wouldn't stick, so then they would have to frame me to spite me. They violated my trust, and I responded in a way that I felt necessary to protect myself from a cover up or retaliation. Plain and simple, they were being uncooperative because they did not want to be held liable for their actions. I was trying to stand up for myself against the violations to my rights, and they aren't used to being held accountable or told by the public how to do their jobs. They are more used to telling the public what to do. The last part of Dawn's report says it all. Dawn is the lady at the public records department that says that I touched her fucking tit or something, whatever the fuck she was trying to imply. The last part of Dawn's report says it all. She says she had no reason to fear me. Where's this report? I'm gonna get a drink and find this report because she says in there that I was polite, I didn't do anything wrong, but yeah, she's just scared of me. They're scared of the fucking camera and they're scared of accountability. Hang on, I'll be right back. All right, let me see if I can find this report from Dawn. Here it is. Look at all these fucking reports. Look at how thick this shit is. This ain't even half of the paperwork I brought in there with. I had a whole backpack full, probably 40 pounds of paperwork, transcripts, police reports. So the bottom of the Public Records Department lady's report, it says, each time dealing with Brian, he was polite, but due to the questions he was asking and the statements that he was making and the fact that he was recording each incident, we did question his mental stability and if he could possibly be dangerous. He gave us an uneasy feeling, but he did nothing specific to make us feel this way. What kind of fucking bullshit is a statement like that? You want to question my mental stability because I was there requesting police reports and videos and asking where I can go to get a complaint form because the jail denied me complaint forms. So, what the fuck is their problem, man? And they try and say that I tried to fucking touch her tit or something. That I was talking about some girl's breast and I thought it was cool. These fucking people, man. I forgot where I left off. I'm just going to pick up anywhere. Plain and simple, they were being uncooperative because they did not want to be held liable for their actions. I was trying to stand up for myself against their violations to my rights, and they aren't used to being held accountable or told by the public how to do their job. They are more used to telling the public what to do. The last part of Dawn's report says it all. She had no reason to fear me. She only fears accountability, and she don't even know it. When you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. These people are such fucking snowflakes out here. It's so fucking wild, man. That Brad Gardner guy, he tops them all. This fucking Dawn bitch, she's a dumbass. But fucking Brad is even worse. I couldn't believe the shit he was saying. I gotta get that transcript. It's gonna be over $1,000 fucking dollars. I don't know how the fuck I need that transcript for the appeal. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna get it. I don't fucking know. But that transcript is gonna be fucking wild. Let me catch up on chats here. If they think you have low IQ or are mentally ill, they will insist you have a public defender. Yeah, well, there was no meeting or whatever appointment with any doctors that says that I was mentally ill. They were just implying that I was mentally ill because I was there asking for complaint forms. You did everything right, so pissed off all the scumbags. Yeah, I didn't do a fucking thing right. Am I still buffering? What the fuck, man? That's fucked up. Oh, good. No buffering. Good. Hang on a second. I'm getting cold. Let me turn the heat up. I'll be right back. 1 second. I'm glad at least you guys fucking understand, man. You guys don't think I'm a fucking nutcase or something. Cause you guys don't have anything to hide. You don't have accountability to hide for. But these fucking people, man, want to try and say I'm crazy and shit. They're gonna fucking see crazy though. Soccer mom, Tennessee's locked down. Can't even find food. I went to the store today for the first time in a week. Walmart. I don't know. They closed it down at night and they restock it. And then they opened at 8 o'clock this morning. I was there at 8 o'clock, just before court. And I was able to find some cereal and they had milk there. And South Dakota's not exactly really shut down like everybody else is. So we're kind of, we're always like 20 years behind everybody else is what they say around here. But we're probably a couple months behind and we'll be on lockdown eventually like everybody else. but it's not quite that bad here. Not yet. They still had plenty of canned food. I was even able to get a couple of loaves of bread, and I got a whole like a 24 pack of ramen noodles. I don't live close to Walmart, so I kind of stocked up a little bit for a couple weeks worth at least. And I was inside the house for a whole week working on my case, so my cabinets were bare by the time I went to Walmart this morning. So I kind of had to stock up. I think I only spent like 60 bucks. It's not like I didn't overdo it or anything. Yeah, there was no jury on this. This was a bench trial. I wish I had a jury because a jury would never find me guilty on this. They would understand that the same thing could happen to them if they filed a complaint on a police officer, that they would be trespassed. Now, a jury's not going to find somebody guilty on something like that, but a judge will. He has a bias. He's never going to have any reason to file a complaint on a police officer. And he has the authority that he doesn't have to go and file a police officer like a regular person does. He can just go and get him fired. They can go talk to his boss and be like, hey, man, this guy's got to go. And that's that. They have special authority. So they don't have to worry about being trespassed for filing complaints on officers. Yeah, they don't have any qualifications to say what's in my mind. They can't testify as to what I'm thinking. They can't testify as what somebody else is thinking. It's all argumentative. So, but I didn't object to anything. I let them speak and speak and speak, and I just hope that the judge was gonna see because he understands the law. It's not like he was a jury and they were trying to sway the jury. The judge already knows that they can't testify to somebody else's feelings or what's in their head. He's supposed to know these things. All right. Have a good night, Carolyn. Or Carol, Franklin. I'm sorry. I appreciate that you hung out. I'll probably be here for like another 45 minutes, probably. I got a couple more pages. What's the penalty? I don't know. They weren't even trying to get jail time. They've been prosecuting me for over a year, violated all these rights, and these are class one misdemeanors. And they didn't give me a jury trial because they're not looking for jail time. But I have a feeling I'm getting jail time because I'm not going to be that cooperative no more. No more fucking nice guy. It's just going to throw me in jail. So I don't even give a fuck. Fuck it. I'm not scared of jail. I've been there. I'm going to go there. I'm going to make a whole bunch of fucking friends because that's the fucking place everybody hates cops. So you just put me in jail. I'm going to be a fucking cancer that grows on this fucking town. I don't care. I hope they put me in jail. All right, Kel, you're going to finish watching tomorrow. I appreciate that. I don't know if it's better to have a judge or a jury, but in this case, a jury would have saved the day. I absolutely, fully, wholeheartedly believe that. That they handpicked their state's attorney against me from 2 counties over. They handpicked a judge, which was a retired judge. They pulled him out of retirement to handle this case. So they handpicked the prosecution and the judge, and then they didn't give me a jury. So this was a complete setup from the start. I agree. Yeah, juries. I would put my faith in a jury rather than a government official. Yeah, you would think a judge would have better understanding and be fair and understand the law, but they don't care about the law. They just don't, because they don't have to care. We're fucking little piss ants, fucking nobodies. All right, good night, Carol. Kicking people out of jail. I hope they kick fucking Eric out. He didn't hurt nobody. Fucking, unless his fucking words hurt somebody, little pussies. I feel like we're all nobodies. I absolutely feel like an outcast from the community. And it's a shitty thing to say about the community because the fucking community is going to get mad at me for saying that they don't care about me, because they say on their channels that they care about everybody and they care about me, and they're going to call me and they're going to fucking, if I email them or if I write them, they're going to write back. It doesn't fucking happen. Promise you. I'm not fucking lying. I ain't got no fucking reason to start up no fucking drama with nobody. But that's the fucking truth. This community doesn't act like a community. And this fucking town don't act like no fucking community either. I'm not trying to sound like a fucking whiny little bitch, like, nobody cares, I'm not loved. I don't give a fuck if anybody fucking loves me. Don't be fucking fake and say that this is a community when it's not. You're just faking it for the fucking viewers so that they fucking like you. It's fucking bullshit. I wanted a jury trial. I asked for a jury trial, and the judge said I wasn't going to get a jury trial because they weren't looking for jail time. Yeah, words are not deadly, but they are dangerous. They are dangerous to their image, to their egos. And they're the ones that rule this fucking country. So we're not allowed to speak, which is a violation of the First Amendment. And this country is going to shit. Monkey 83 one time, he explained it to me. I asked him, so why do we go out there and record all the time when we just get arrested and we get kicked around and then we don't have any due process, we don't have any lawyers, we just got to take it up the ass. Why do we do it? And he explained it perfectly, and I kind of half understood it at the time, but now I fully understood. But he said that he's documenting the downfall of the Constitution, and it makes total sense right now because we don't have the rights, so we feel that we have the rights. They're just not there. It's all a mirage. It's fake as fuck, and we document it. That's what we do. It doesn't accomplish a whole lot. It doesn't mean that we're gonna get out of jail. It doesn't mean that we're gonna win any lawsuits. We just document it. That's it. We plant seeds. We bring awareness. We get kicked in the fucking balls, and we got to take the hits. And all the bootlickers don't even give a fuck. We're the ones protecting the bootlickers, and they don't even appreciate it. Yeah, South Dakota, they want a lot of money. So far, it's cost me a lot of money on transcripts. I probably spent at least $800 on transcripts for this whole thing. And then they're gonna probably fucking fine me for being in a public building, which is fucking ridiculous. So yeah, this is all about money. And then I was given a public defender that I was trespassed from, and then when he withdrew, he gave me a bill for 200 fucking bucks. I never paid that shit. Fuck that. I ain't never paying none of that shit. Fucking crash test dummy gonna fucking fuck these motherfuckers up. Watch. You can call me big shitty. You can call me crash test dummy. Watch. I'm gonna go down in history as crash test dummy. Even if I can afford a lawyer, they don't help. I don't. They take your money, and they're in it for the money, just like the state is. They're not into it for the cause. I could have paid somebody $20,000, and the judge would still rule against me. It wouldn't have made any difference if I had a lawyer. And I presented this case with all the effort that I had in me. I had more effort in this than any fucking lawyer would have presented for me, and I still lost. I saved myself a fortune on not buying a lawyer, and it doesn't make any difference. I don't know of any lawyers that really stand up for us. Eric Brandt, he's been doing this for a long fucking time, and look at him in jail. He didn't do anything wrong, and he's in jail, and he doesn't have a lawyer, or if he has a lawyer, they're not doing any fucking thing because he's in jail. So I don't believe in lawyers. I think that if we're gonna get kicked in the balls, we're just gonna have to fucking get kicked in the balls without having to get fucking kicked in the ass too by the lawyer. A judge should be fired from the bench. I don't understand how judges get fired from the bench. They have complete and total immunity. I don't understand it. You're right, soccer mom. When I started this, I thought that we had rights and then we were making a difference. But nope. No, we just went out there and we committed freedom suicide. We put our names out there, they identified us, and it's just like that guy in Texas that police union guy said that he's gonna take our names, and when we stir the pot, they're gonna fuck us up. That's what they've been doing. They got our names. They know who we are. They know what we represent to hold them accountable, and they're against being held accountable. And they're winning this war because our community doesn't band together. We don't have lawyers. We don't help each other with legal representation when we have questions. There's a lot of fake motherfuckers in this community. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. I don't know if you guys see it or not. Mm, I talked to Mark Burgess the other day. I feel like he's been avoiding me, avoiding my texts and whatnot. So I went ahead and called him, and he answered. I was surprised he answered. I thought he was going to just let it fucking ring. But we talked a little bit, and he's worried about this coronavirus stuff. So he's kind of on shutdown mode right now. And I think he's pissed about losing his trial because I think that they convicted him on pulling away from the officer. So he's resisting or some shit like that. I don't know what it was. But the officer never even gave him any orders. So I don't understand what the fuck he was convicted on. I asked him for a copy of his police report, and he said he got to see it like a week before his trial. He doesn't have a copy of it. His lawyer won't give him a copy of it. I want to see his police report, but he says he can't access it. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. What kind of lawyer is that? That's why I was saying, Kathleen Burgess, if that I forget his name, what you said, but if he's the one that represented him, and he's not even allowing Mark to have his police report, I don't trust that guy. He won't represent me. If he wants to be helpful and answer my questions, then I'm even willing to pay a lawyer for advice, but I'm not going to hire somebody to take over on my case, and I'm just going to pray and hope that he handles it, and then he doesn't give me police reports and shit. That's why I don't trust lawyers. They're not on our side. Yeah, the right to a trial is the Sixth Amendment. That is correct. It absolutely does not say anything about a bench trial and being forced into a bench trial. It says you have the right to a jury of your peers. And it doesn't say anything about being a misdemeanor or a felony. It just says you have a right to a jury of your peers. And Lacey's still ill. All right, we'll see you later, Lacey. And you're right, we are losing. And Eric being in jail is not helping us at all. I really don't think that he's fake at all. He's very intelligent, and when I need help, he's always been there for me. That's fucked up. He's in there. I'm gonna finish fucking reading. Get fucking emotional. President Trump has got many votes, as he did because he wasn't a politician, part of the corrupt system. Supposedly, depends on how you view this guy. I don't have any fucking respect for the guy. His mission was to drain the swamp. I am on a similar patriotic mission, and I know I face oppression. But at some point, justice needs to step in and realize what they are doing wrong. I am the only victim in this case I see here today. They want to claim those three girls that walked into the fucking police department and were scared because she seen some guy recording for his protection and he's surrounded by three officers. Yeah, they're going to take notice. Yeah, they're going to think something's up. But it's not because I'm standing there recording. It's because I'm surrounded by police officers that are looking like they're about to jump on me. So they're trying to say that they're victims because they had to witness that. And they looked scared. There are no victims here to testify that I caused a legitimate reason for fear or disturbance. I did not ask Records Department to pat me down. I asked them where I could find any officer that searched me. I did not ask the female clerical staff to pat me down. Again, I asked for any officer to give me a pat down search. I didn't even realize that some of these people that work in the police department, they're not officers. They just work behind a desk. They're records staff and whatnot. I guess it makes sense, but I don't fucking know these things. I'm just a regular fucking citizen. But I didn't say, hey, you records department, I want you to fucking pat me down. I said, hey, any officer. And the police department wants to spin the narrative like I was just asking random girls in the building that aren't cops to pat me down. That's not the case. That's a fool's mission, because of course they're not going to pat you down if they're not a cop. It's fucking stupid. Trying to make me sound like I'm fucking stupid, and they're fucking stupid. If I had been requesting a certain staff member and not an officer, that might have been odd. I would not classify my request to be a disturbance unless I refused to leave until they had done it. I was requesting. I was not demanding. So yeah, I was just requesting. I was not demanding. It was just a, you know, simple request. If they didn't want to do it, fine. And I left. I did not argue or protest. It is just pathetic that they would try so hard to imply that I was causing fear and borderline sexual harassment, uh, causing fear and borderline sexually harassing staff. Had I not been recording for my protection against authoritarianism, I probably would have easily found myself guilty today, and maybe even charged myself with sexual harassment just for telling the story of how transparent other states are being. So I'm not a fucking good reader, especially right now. I'm not in the fucking right state of mind. But if I had read these reports that they wrote against me, then and if I didn't know who I was, and if I was just some random jury or something, and I was going based only on the police reports, then yeah, I might have been like, man, this guy's kind of fucking weird, huh? He's guilty of something. But that's why I recorded, because I wasn't weird at all. My recordings prove that, and that's why they don't like recordings, because then they can't control the narrative. Record the fucking police. If anybody comes to me for a complaint about the police and you're telling me what happened and you can't show me what happened, that's your own fucking fault. Film the fucking police. And I help anybody out with advice. That's why I'm here right now. I'm reading this fucking statement right here, hoping that you guys can read or could learn something from this. I can't even fucking talk right now. I'm so fucking out of it. I hope you guys are getting educated though. I got 12 people in here. Glad you guys are chatting. It's hard for me to read both, but I'm glad you guys are paying attention and chatting. Spreading the word, educating the public. That's what we do. That's all we can do. Sooner or later, we can only hope that the government starts to change. And if they don't change, then the next generation will know how they got to where they are, with maybe permanent fucking whatever it's called, where they lock it down. I just had the word in my head and I forgot it. I was accused of creating fear, causing concern, etc. Yet I was never given the opportunity to explain my side of the situation or show the recordings that they knew existed. They never even asked me for the recordings. They said Dawn said that I said something about a tit. They didn't investigate. They didn't ask me my side of the story. They didn't ask to see the recording. They just believed her that I was being inappropriate and I said something about a tit and I thought it was cool. The only thing they have to fear from me is that I do not fear their tyranny and I know my rights better than the average citizen. I was targeted and a biased investigation was conducted that led to an order that deprived my rights to access public property, and I was never given the opportunity to combat these accusations. I was never even notified of the accusations. Yeah. They never even told me that this lady was saying something about a tit until after I was arrested and I got the discovery. I had no fucking idea that they were saying that I was hiding behind a plant. Yeah. I had no idea about anything until I got my discovery. These are supposed to be law enforcement officers, not feeling enforcers of fear. I can't control people's emotions, and filing a complaint about officers is obviously not going to settle well with all. It's not going to settle well with all. But I can't be expected to make everybody happy. And the fact that I made a member of the government club unhappy is not a violation of the law. If I did cause any fear, it was only the fear of being held accountable. I was very mild-mannered and calm. There are no accusations of any weapons or threats. It is obvious that I was ganged up on and discriminated against for constitutionally protected activities. I am dealing with public officials that are used to getting their way with pathetic pushover citizens that don't question their authority. I am not a junkie or a drunk or a coward. They should have cooperated with me and showed me some respect. Together, we could have made progress through cooperation. That's their motto, by the way, progress through cooperation. But they only cooperate with each other, the sheriff department and the police department. That's what they're talking about. Progress through cooperation. They don't cooperate with the public. That's not what their motto is about. Progress through cooperation. That's their motto. If they are intimidated by me, it is only because they know I am not intimidated by them, and I am smart enough to realize their unlawful tactics, and I am willing to call them out on it. I am not denying I made them feel uncomfortable. People normally feel uncomfortable when they are being called out on crimes. I knew they weren't going to be happy to see me each time. That is why they kept sending me to different departments. That is why they lied in order to justify trespassing me. That is why I recorded each interactions. Utilizing public services or inquiring about public services is not a disturbance. Educating on officers on matters that they don't want to enforce is not a disturbance. Requesting protection from being framed is not a disturbance. Being aware of flaws in training is not a disturbance. The fact that they did not want to get involved in my investigation into officer misconduct is not a lawful reason to make false reports and trespass me. And surely it is not a lawful reason to arrest me. They have no authority to judge me for exercising my rights. If their only defense is that they don't need to give me a hard copy of a complaint form and a handbook because they have that stuff on the website, then I would say that is not fair to those that are not familiar with internet websites. Websites should be for the people's convenience, not for the government's convenience. There are plenty of people out there that never go online and are easily lost. Maybe they are old, just got out of prison, or have learning disabilities. I explained that I couldn't find it. I'm talking about here now that I was asking for their mail policy, and they're like, yeah, just go online and get it. And then I asked for a complaint form, and they said, yeah, just go online and get it. And then I went back. This is the only time I went back asking for the same thing because I couldn't find it online. I get it. It's like a maze, these websites, all these different tabs, and I don't know which tab leads to what. It's not like you just type up Pennington County Sheriff and then right there, boom, there's a complaint form. It doesn't work that way. You have to search and it takes a long fucking time. So they know where to find it on the website. So why not I just go there and have them print it out for me? I'll pay 25 cents a page if that's what they want. But they want to say, just go away, go online and find it. And that's not fair to everybody because some people, like I said, they have a learning disability or they're not used to computers because, my grandparents, they weren't used to computers and that stuff come out. They had no interest in learning about computers. They do shit old school. They do shit hard copy with papers. They file a complaint, they go down there and ask for a paper. I don't understand why just because they have websites now that they can avoid responsibilities to the public and say that they don't have to give anybody hard copies of anything anymore. These are all public records. The mailroom policies is public record. I have the right to access this public record. I have the right to file a complaint, and I need a paper form to do that. I explained to them that I couldn't find it on the website. Why are they always so tyrannical and difficult as they as if they hate the public? Why can't they just be helpful like someone should be that works for the public? In Lieutenant Diaz's report, he mentioned that Holly at the county commissioner's office gave me a complaint form, and my request for a complaint form was stopped. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'm fucking confused on my own reading here. So I went there and I requested a complaint form. I said I couldn't find it online, so I went back and I asked for a hard copy. What's the big deal? I just need a hard copy, and I recorded all this. I wasn't fucking rude or anything about it. And then after my second time going back, they're like, well, just give them a hard copy so it'll go away. So I got the hard copy, and then my complaints or my request for the hard copy stopped. After I got it, it stopped. Why didn't they do that the first time? So why didn't they just give me the complaint form so I didn't have to search all over town? Because when they didn't give me the complaint form, then I had to go over their head. I had to go to the county commissioner's office, and they oversee the county and the county matters. So I made the complaint with them. So then they called it the chief, deputy chief Mueller, to come talk to me. So it would have avoided all this fucking hassle if they would have just gave me the hard copy to begin with. And I got to go all over the fucking place to file a complaint. I know when I'm being obstructed to redress a grievance. I hate dealing with difficult, mean public servants with a God complex. I have the right to file a complaint on them if I want to, and I shouldn't have to worry about being retaliated on or have to face slander of having mental problems, hiding behind plants, engaging in inappropriate conversations of breasts, and numerous accusations of causing inarticulable disturbances. I understand this is all very unusual, and I am very, very thorough in my investigative journalism. But it is not illegal. I understand that most people would have given up a long time ago, but the fact that they arrested me and I am still currently trespassed more than a year later changes things. And I have taken all this very personal because of their lies, comments about my mental health, plus the fact that not one public official or lawyer and all of the hundreds of people that I have reached out to, none of them have taken any interest in the fact that I have been completely stonewalled from receiving any services in the entire city. As it turns out, I am not as stupid as everybody assumes. I am, I am because my instincts were spot on, and the fact that I needed to document every encounter of my protection for my protection. I don't sound very intelligent right now. I was reading this better in court, just in case you were wondering. I'm just fucking sick of this shit right now. And the lighting in here is not good. But yeah, whatever. Excuses, excuses. I'm not a fucking good reader. I'll admit it then. The false reports insinuating disturbances prove this. It is insulting to me that none of them said anything to me about their concerns, but instead they all gossip behind my back in reports and emails until the point of the top officials were relying on inaccurate information and treating me like a perverted criminal looking to cause problems. This all could have been avoided had they not broken the law to block my mail because someone did not like my religious views. All right, I'm finally on the last page here, guys. I understand the effect on morale my complaints cause, but it was petty until they refused to accept their mistakes. I was not there for frivolous complaints. Commander Yantes admits the mail-route violated federal law. I have video recording of this. He admitted that they did something wrong, and I was there to file a complaint on it. And that's what started all of this was the mailroom violation. And I was recording it. I was getting evidence of it. I was planning on following on through with it. and they did everything they could to make it difficult for me. They did not cooperate one bit. They could have just said, "Hey, we corrected the mistake, and we trained our officers a little bit better. It's not going to happen again. You can go ahead and write inmates." They could have just cleared this up, but they didn't clear nothing up. They fucking made all these false ass reports on me and trespassed me. Commander Yantes admits that the mailroom violated federal law. If anyone was making frivolous complaints, it was not me. They wanted to ruin my freedom and my faith in the government and disgrace the Constitution. I would like to. There was some writing on the wall that I was referring to. They have it says A is for the acceptance of differences, B is for this, that, and it goes all the way through the whole alphabet. And I listed 2 examples here. And it says, I would like to direct your attention to the writing on the wall. I'm not going to address every letter, but I do want to address the first one and the last one. A is for acceptance of differences. I am different. We all know this, but I was not accepted. Z is for zealously support a worthy cause. What cause is greater than standing up against tyranny in America or tyranny in America? I thank you all for forcing me into my activism and giving me the motivation that I will never stop until they kill me, and that the knowledge of my government only backs government members of the government club. I take these matters very seriously because I expose bullies with guns and special government authority to abuse at their whim. Supporting case law and reference on trespassing citizens from public property can be compared to State versus Colby and Catron versus Petersburg. Any other doubts about this can be referred to the Constitution of the United States. And then I close with the quote of Turner versus Chicago, or Chicago versus Turner. This was the quote that started off my video, the 4-hour video. I love this quote. A function of free speech under our system of government is to invite dispute. It may indeed best serve its high purpose when it induces condition of unrest, creates dissatisfactions with conditions as they are, or even stirs people to anger. Speech is often provocative and challenging. It might strike at prejudices and preconceptions and have profound unsettling effects as it presses for an acceptance of an idea. That is why freedom of speech is protected against censorship or punishment, unless it is likely to show or produce a clear and present danger of serious substantial evil that rises far above public inconvenience, annoyance, or unrest. There is no room under our Constitution for a more restrictive view, for the alternative would lead to standardization of ideas by legislators, courts, or dominant political community groups. And that's my closing statement. It was 11 pages, and the state objected in the middle of it, and the judge looked really bored, and he told me to hurry up and get on with it. So I wasn't able to read the whole thing. I kind of scanned through it. I read bits and pieces of it. I might have read half of it, but I knew it wasn't getting through to him. But this is everything I wanted to present him at the closing of my defense, and they weren't interested. I'm going to try and catch up on the chats here. Did you get to play your recording? I got to play about 3 or 4 recordings. I gave the state about 50 recordings, and everything that happened at the city hall was objected for relevance because I was never trespassed at the city hall. That's where I made the appointment with the chief. So I felt that was relevant because all of these twist up in it. They're all relevant in some way to each other. The whole story, each video should be one complete story. So I think it's all relevant, but a lot of the video was not played. I knew that they were going to object to it. They objected me the whole way through my questioning. The judge sustained all the objections. They objected. I did not get a fair defense. I did get to play the videos of my arrest, the video just before my arrest where Don Hendrick told me if I continue to record people that I need to leave. I got to play that one. I got to play the one with Dawn when she said I fucking said something about a boob and said it was cool. And then I got to play the one with Brad Gardner where he was scared for his life and whatnot. And he's traumatized and he thinks I'm gonna fucking follow his bitch ass home. I got bigger fucking problems than that little bitch. That dude needs to man up. But I did get to play that one. So there was about 5 videos there I got to play. And anything that had to do with the post office that was not relevant, I felt that it was only like borderline relevant. It added to the story, but we were going to be there for 5 days if we were going to watch all these videos, and I was going to ask questions about every interaction of all these videos. I felt that it would have been unnecessary to my defense, but I didn't go into that depth of defense, and it wouldn't have mattered if it was a 5-day trial. That judge was already made up his mind before I walked in there. I make all kinds of fucking noise and shit outside the fucking courthouse. I've been doing that for months. I've been protesting. I don't give a fuck if they don't like me, and I make it known. And I never started off being an asshole, but when they started taking my rights away and then saying I'm dangerous and I'm mentally unstable and whatnot, this shit pisses me off. And I'm still trespassed. I still can't go and get records. I still can't file a complaint. So I'm not gonna just be quiet about it. So that's why I started protesting. And I never started off like that. They asked for that shit. They violated my rights. I had the right to protest, and now they want to use it against me. Don testified at the trial that I'm weird because people don't usually stand outside the courthouse and the police department and yell. And I asked her, "Have you ever yelled? You know, what's the big fucking deal if you yell? Everybody fucking expresses their feelings." I had reason to express my feelings. I wasn't out there yelling about Captain Crunch is the best. You know, I'm out there fuck the police because they earn that disrespect. I don't respect any of those motherfuckers. If there's any good cops, they have not presented themselves to me. If there's any good cops, contact me. You know how to contact me. Ain't nobody ever walked out there and been a fucking nice guy to me. Ain't none of them gonna stand up against the other officers. They're all fake as fuck. They're like, oh yeah, just go to court, take it up with the judge. That's what we do in America. Yeah, we're supposed to get fair trials in America too. We're supposed to get juries by trials by jury is what we're supposed to get. If I requested one. Lie on the stand should be the motto. Yeah, I played that video to Assistant Chief Deputy. No, it was Don Hendrick, Assistant Chief of the Police, Don Hendrick. I played the video for him to watch because he said he hadn't seen it, of the complaint that Dawn said that I said something about a boob and she said it, or I said it was cool. And I played the video for him because he said that he trespassed me because of her reports that I was being fucking weird and it didn't have anything to do with police business and whatnot. So I played the video, and it doesn't say there's nothing inappropriate in there. Everything that I spoke about was about records, and I was speaking to the records department. And then after I was done playing the video, I asked him, was there anything in there that was inappropriate? And he says, oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard of what you said about the breast. I never even said breast. I said exposed. I was talking about somebody that got into a fight in jail that was recorded because they have public record for the public in booking that records all the time. And that was in Arizona. That's public record. And it pertains to what I was speaking to with the lady. And then he says it was inappropriate. And then the point that I was trying to blame them for an ex-girlfriend. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story, what I was talking about, but I write people in jail. I try to be a fucking nice guy. You know, I was writing this girl, and then all these girls fucking write back and like, oh, I love you and all this. You know, send me some stamps and money and whatnot. So this girl, she's trying to say that she's a nice fucking person and whatnot. So I asked her for a police report, and she wouldn't send it to me. So I'm like, that's kind of fishy. So I figured, well, that's public record, fucking police report. So I'll go down there and request it, and they didn't release it to me. This was long before I had any issues with them. They just protect fucking records for some reason. I don't know why. So I never did get to see this police report. And then when she gets out, I dated her anyways, and it turns out she's just a fucking junkie and a thief and shit. So I dumped her. And then her nephew comes over there and robs my place. And I got a roommate there, and they fucking took money from her. And I felt fucking guilty, man. This stupid ass fucking bitch come over there and steal from my fucking roommate, and they took my laptop and shit. Just some petty ass shit. They didn't fucking get nothing. There's some brass knuckles hanging on the fucking wall. They took that big fucking deal. Just some fucking piece of shit motherfuckers. And then so that's the story that I explained to records department, that had I got the fucking police report to begin with, then I'd have known what kind of person she was, and I would have never fucking dated her. So it's not like I was blaming them. I was just giving them an example that why police reports are important to the public, so that we know what kind of people we're dealing with. And fucking chief of police Don Hendricks said that was causing a disturbance and blaming them for my fucking relationship problems. It's fucking bullshit, man. Should be liable in slander. I almost included that in my closing statements. More people should fight for ADA compliance. Absolutely right. You know, I think I actually did try and contact the ADA on this so that they could help me out. And I know I did in Arizona. And in Arizona, I said that I couldn't hear the judge. And I requested a telephonic conference, and then they didn't even allow it. So I contacted the ADA because I wasn't, able to attend my own hearing. And then I couldn't hear the judge. And then the ADA just sent back some vague letter that says that they don't interfere with court proceedings. So the ADA is kind of like another fucking a mirage. They don't fucking help nobody out. Not that I know of, anyways. They didn't help me out. This fucking judge in Arizona talks so quiet, I couldn't hear his ass. It was ridiculous. If you file on an officer, it goes on their permanent record. Well, I'm trespassed, so I can't even file a fucking report. And even if I do turn in a report, how do I know it doesn't go straight in the trash? How do I know it's been filed? They're supposed to do that stuff. No fucking clue. I have no control over that. It should go on their permanent record, but it's probably just another mirage. False sense of security. That's all this fucking government does. They just fake it, fake it, fake it till they make it. A couple of months ago, I had a trial. The scumbag judge said 5 or 6 times, I don't think you committed a crime, but you're guilty. That's pretty much exactly what happened with me, too. He says that I stonewalled the police from being able to help me. That was his words. I stonewalled the police. The police didn't stonewall me. I never said nothing about stonewalling. I used to say that in my reports a while back, so I know he was referring to some past experiences, and he's involved in my case, more than what was involved into my trial today. That was his clue he was telling me. Because there's no fucking way I stonewalled the police. The police stonewalled me the whole fucking way. He's completely lost. And he's spitting in my face by saying that shit. the only the only see what they want to see and think. Your document exposes it over and over. Be real. I'm glad you're not a fucking moron like everybody else. I don't think there's any morons in this room right now, but they're all over the fucking place. And they don't even care about my mission. They don't care about my story, my videos. They just don't care. And that's sad that I lose my freedom. I get kicked in the balls. I fucking get thrown in jail. I get terrorized by these motherfuckers. And the people I'm fighting for don't care. I don't know. The soldiers in Vietnam must have came back very pissed off because I think that they know what I'm going through right now. That they gave up their lives for people that did not appreciate what they were doing. And that's sad. They earn the hate every minute. Absolutely. If there was any good cops out there, they would be the ones most upset about police brutality and the terrorism they cause on the communities. There's no good cops out there. There's nobody standing up. They're fake as fuck to my face. They say, "Oh yeah, you working on a good cause here," and yeah, they try and be friendly and shit. Every time I go in that courthouse, they're fake ass motherfuckers. I see right through them motherfuckers. If they believed in anything they say, then they would be speaking up with me. Don't nobody speak up with me. I'm the only one out there yelling, "Fuck the police." Everybody thinks I'm a fucking nutcase. They don't understand my cause. They threaten to tase you in your pajamas. They maced your son. I think Mark told me about that story, and he tried to sue if this is the same story, and the cops got some kind of immunity. He was in his own fucking home, and there was a medical emergency with you. I think this is what I don't remember. It was a while ago that he explained this, and he refused to leave because you're his wife, is what I'm assuming, and they tased him. But he's had a lot of problems with the cops out there, is what I understand. So this might be a different situation. He didn't tell me they maced your son. Is that what I'm reading? My mind is not working very clear right now. Yes, they do. I never started out this way either. Till they threatened to tase me in my pajamas. I was trying to get them off of my son. They had maced him and were sitting on him. Okay, so this is a different situation. What Mark was telling me about. But I don't know. I wish me and Mark would click a little bit fucking better because he's on his own mission over there, and it's a good cause. We're all on good causes to hold them accountable. They all fucking fuck us up. They take our freedoms away. They're not held accountable, and I'm fucking sick of it. Nice people are targets. Yeah. Sad truth. They have a problem with sitting on people and taking their breath away. And your son's lucky he survived. And the fact that he was maced and being held down, it's exactly how they fucking kill people and just say that, well, he was resisting. And bootlickers out there are like, well, he was resisting. He's resisting because he couldn't fucking breathe, stupid. Uh, who talked to defend? What did he go through and got them to comply? I know he works through with the ADA a lot, and I've taken his advice and contacted the ADA on times, and it doesn't help. I don't know what the fuck they're there for. They're there to pretend that they do something and collect a check. That's what they do. Go to the public library and print off a complaint, send a certified, prove that you sent it, keep a copy for yourself. I did that with my fourth public defender. I was outside the courthouse and I was recording our interactions because I couldn't record inside the courthouse. So we're outside the courthouse. And then as soon as we walk inside the courthouse, I have to turn the camera off. So I turn the camera off. And then we go right to the metal detectors where they got those two cops there and check you for weapons and whatnot. And you got to empty your pockets. And as soon as we walk up to this metal detector, that is when he gets in my face and he says, "You will not ever record me again." That fucking guy is supposed to be defending me on a First Amendment protected case. And he's getting in my face for recording him. I did file a complaint. I did sign an affidavit. Eric gave me the instructions on how to do this. I got it notarized. I sent it in. I sent in a request to preserve the video and to view the video. I wanted a copy of it. They did not give me a copy of it. They would not allow me to record while I viewed it, but I did view it. And during the viewing, I didn't mention it to the police officers because I knew the video would speak for itself. But the fucking little bastard cocks his shoulder back like he wanted to fucking punch me when he gritted his teeth. I know what I saw, but I didn't know if it was enough to pick up on the video, and the video picked it up. This fucking guy got in my face. He gritted his teeth and said, "You will never fucking record me again." And then he cocked his shoulder back like this, like he was like he's baiting me in to attack him and defending myself, not attack him, but defend myself from him. Like about to throw a punch on me. And it's just right in front of two officers where the officers are obviously going to take his side. No matter what the fuck happens, I'm the one going to get tased and maced. They're not going to tase and mace this fucking lawyer that they see every day and it works in the building every day. He was going to use them motherfuckers to kick my ass. And he was trying to bait that situation. And I signed the affidavit. I did everything I could do. As far as I know, it's on the record. I filed a police report. The police called me back and they said that they didn't view any harassment or anything, any threats. So they closed the case. And I've requested the police reports and they don't give me any police reports. I don't know if any of you guys are involved with my police reports request where I had a whole list, a whole bunch of stuff, 55 items of stuff that I was requesting. And they deny me in all the records. They don't give me nothing. I am the one that's stonewalled. Cops are fucking ruthless. And they all gang up on us. Thank you, Be Real, for passing that on to Ghost Rider. I watch Ghost Rider's channel. I watch the other channels. And I chat in there. And I explain. And there's so much chat going on. And they read everybody else's chat. But for some reason, I'm outcasted. Nobody comes here. Patrick, PayPal Patty, he's the only one that's ever come here. And I respect him for that. Everybody else hates the guy. But he's never done anything to me. And he is the only one that has taken the initiative to come here. Patrick and Selena, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I love his videos and I respect him. That's that. I would have respect for others in this community if they would step up and act like a community and come here and help me. I need boots on the ground. I've been telling people over a year now, begging for help. Just come here and help me. Nobody but Patrick and Selena. Selena's the bomb. Everybody loves Selena. I've never heard one complaint about Selena. She's the sweetest fucking girl ever. Patrick would fucking treat her better, asshole. But I appreciate that you sent that message to Ghost Rider. But I can almost guarantee he's not gonna come. I won't even get a letter from him. I won't get a call from him. Just saying. It's not gonna happen. Thank you for appreciating me. Be real. There's some people that take the initiative to pay attention to what the fuck is going on here. And anybody that takes that initiative, I appreciate you. Yep, the Denver crew has a lot of guys. They're a powerful crew, and they're in a state that actually respects the First Amendment better than the South Dakota does, and they're even losing. Eric Brandt's in jail. They arrest all these other guys from the crew, and they have to fight their way through the system. Some of them found not guilty. Pikes Peak is a badass. Every time I go out there, it seems like he's beating a case. I have a lot of respect for him. But Denver is a good crew, and they're losing too. And then you got me in a worse state by myself, and that's what I'm up against. You're not getting my notifications, be real. Well, I don't know what YouTube's doing. I don't understand. I'm not a big channel. I don't know why they would be concerned about blocking me out. But if you don't catch the lives, just catch the rerun, I guess. I don't know. Comment if you like. I don't read the comments a whole lot. They're kind of confusing. I don't know if you guys make videos and read your comments, but you got to go to YouTube Studio, and then there's spots in there where there's comments that are held for review, and then I don't understand it. They don't show up in both areas at the same time, so I have to go through and approve other comments. And I wish it wasn't. I wish people could just comment. I want them to put links. I don't care what they say. I don't care what link they put. If they say something about I need to pray or something, then that's just another fucking mirage and a false sense of security. I don't listen to that shit. I don't care what you fucking comment. I'll read it if I see it, but I'll probably delete some fucking God shit because I'm not religious. But it's not like I'm gonna hate you for it. I'm just not gonna fucking listen to that shit. That's some bullshit. Try and fucking pray, fucking have him solve your problems. It just teaches people not to solve their own problems and lets authority just fucking stomp their rights. So there's this false sense of security in God that he's gonna take care of it. And then by the time you realize God's not gonna take care of it, it's too fucking late. God ain't gonna write no fucking appeal for me. I worry so much about my son. He has autism and STEMs. I've had to talk with him a lot about the dangers to people with autism. He's 13 and tries hard not to stim in public. The police officers treat people with autism as if they're criminals, as if they're breaking the law. I've seen a lot of videos. People with autism are different. I don't have autism. Nobody that I know has autism. I haven't been around it. I'm not trained to deal with it. I don't understand it, but I understand that they're not criminals for their mental problems. They were born with it. It's not like they decided to put a fucking needle in their vein and then create mental problems. This is something they absolutely have no control over. And that's some bullshit what cops be doing. Tackling them, arresting them. How the fuck you seen that video of that guy with no arms and legs and they fucking tackled that guy and held him down? What kind of bullshit is that? That's complete flat out bullshit. No justification for that stuff. That is what passes as public defender. Does Eric have a PDF file example or something to help us file suits against the police? I thought I saw a video of him talking about it. I have a copy somewhere around here. It might take me a few minutes to find it, but he did send me a copy of a lawsuit that he filed against that fat fuck, the one that killed the guy and then got a life-saving accommodation. That's some fucking whack shit. But he did give me that lawsuit to refer as a reference to, so that when I file a lawsuit, but I haven't taken a close look at it because I can't file a lawsuit until I beat my charges, and they're not allowing me to beat my charges. So I need to learn how to file appeal before I can file lawsuits on them. To my understanding, anyways. If I'm wrong, then somebody contact me and correct me. I'll listen. I'm doing this for education, doing it for my education and your guys' education. But yes, he has done a lot of videos on educating others on lawsuits. Yeah, they just say pray because they don't know how to solve somebody else's problems. Kind of like what the police department do. They're like, well, I can't help you. Go over here. That motherfucker will help you. That's what God's for. Like they ain't got the answers, so go refer to some fucking magic guy in the clouds and figure it out on your own and get some kind of false sense of security from that bullshit. It just falls under ADA rights that no one fights for. I think it's a lost cause at ADA. They don't want to. I think they just put some idiot in there that nobody wants to deal with, so they can collect a free check and be loyal to the government and get them out of everybody else's fucking hair. Because I've contacted the ADA and they don't want to interfere. Just like anybody else, I've contacted hundreds of people on my case and nobody wants to get involved. Nobody wants to interfere. You really need to get a copy. It's a long story. Copy to what? What story are you talking about? Down to 6 people in here. It's been a long stream. I'm glad at least most of you hung out for my final statement, my closing statement of my trial. Mr. Green. Who's Mr. Green? You can tell anybody, any expert, or anybody that claims to be an expert to contact me. Anybody says that they know their rights and they fight for rights and they sue cops and they hold them accountable, have them contact me. Prove it. Let's prove it together to everybody. I'm an outcast. Ain't nobody coming here. Ain't nobody giving a shit. That's why I'm going crash test dummy. That's my next mission. Fuck these motherfuckers. I ain't some pussy ass little bitch that gonna push me a fuck around. I'm not a drunk. I'm not a junkie. I'm a law abiding citizen. They got no fucking right to treat me like they do. Soccer mom, if you have time to talk this week, can you reach out to me? I need to pick someone's brain on something that happened to my 15-year-old daughter. False detainment, no crime. I was falsely detained so that they could serve a bullshit fucking order of protection on me. I'll give you any information I got. We can talk about it now. We can talk about it later. You can email me at my name, Brian Hyder, AZ, as in Arizona, at gmail.com. I'm from Arizona, so I've had that email for a long time. My email spelled out BryanHyderaz@gmail.com. You can email me. We can talk about whatever the fuck you want. My case, your case. I'll give you any advice I got. Anything anybody ever teaches me, I will spread that knowledge. This channel is not monetized. I never plan on monetizing it. This channel is not for clickbait. I will never let that interfere with the education of helping the community. This is a community service, and it's not going to get diluted by money. That's not what this is about. If you pay a lawyer, it takes off shoulders. That's paying a lawyer is like praying to fucking God. I handle my own problems. I'm doing this to educate myself so that they can stop pushing me around, so I can educate others so they can stop pushing them around, and they can stop getting away with pushing everybody around. Lawyers, they don't help us. They don't give a fuck about nothing but money. They might as well have a monetized channel. That's what it's all about, is money. It's not about helping the people, because I'm innocent. Everybody knows I'm innocent. If they watch my videos, I never did nothing wrong. Yet there's no lawyer that will help me out. Nobody has any interest. If I had $10,000, they'd take my money, but they still wouldn't have interest. That's what lawyers do. Yeah, soccer mom, I did get that example from Eric to look over the lawsuit and see how they're put together. It's interesting to see an example of one, but there's a lot of other things that goes for the immunities and stuff. You gotta watch out, because there's a lot of things in there that they just throw it out because they're like, well, you didn't include this argument here for this, so it's just them, like another way of them controlling the narrative. So just because you don't include it, you forgot to include it or something, they're just gonna throw it out. So lawyers are needed to explain these things, but they're not doing it. They're not explaining it to us. It should be common knowledge. We should know how to defend our rights. It should be a basic education taught in high school. Not all these tens of years of math that we never use. Our rights are important, and we need to know how to protect them. And the public school system does not teach us because they don't want us to know. They don't want us. They want us to be easily pacified little sheep that shut up and die. We give them our money and die. Mark's lawyer paid for his transcript already and is filing for an appeal for free. That all sounds good and dandy, but why doesn't Mark have his own police report? Why did his lawyer deny him the ability to see his police report until a week before trial? Why is this lawyer not working with Mark as a team member on his trial? I don't plan on ever signing away my rights to defend myself to a lawyer that's just gonna take over, and I just have to trust him that he fucking gonna do right. I don't know. And you said that his transcript was only $150. That must have been a short ass trial. It wasn't half as complicated as mine. I understand that, but mine cost $440 for the evidentiary hearing trial. that was like 3 hours long. If anybody ever doubts anything I say, I got the receipt for it. $440 for a transcript. Fucking bullshit. They want to make a fucking long ass trial, and I'm gonna have to pay for another transcript just to file another appeal. And if I win the appeal, then there's gonna be another trial, which is gonna be another transcript. It's Ghost Rider's here. Someone proved me wrong, and Ghost Rider is here. What's up, Ghost Rider? So I've been having a problem on my case, and I'm reaching out to the community that if anybody could help me write an appeal. I need to write an appeal because I was found guilty. And I feel like an outcast. Nobody will call me. Nobody will email me. I've written letters. Nobody writes me back. I'm the only old school motherfucker out there that will still write snail mail red letters and send them out. Johnny 50, in one of his streams, he put his mailing address on there to his P.O. box, and he asked for pen pals. So I broke the ice and I wrote him. I've met him before. Well, he's familiar with me, and he's not gonna write me back. He already said in his stream that he got my letter, but he's not gonna write me back. What kind of shit is that? Ask for pen pals. I take the time to fucking write like an hour or two a letter to him, and then he don't give a fuck to write me back. That's not what community is. I'll email you. All right, soccer mom. We'll talk about that. Whatever you want to talk about. I'm here to educate y'all. She's the best kid ever. Will cry if she thinks someone is correcting her. Super soft heart. So upset what the cops did to her. And she has injuries to her wrist. That's fucked up. They don't discriminate. Old folks, I see it every day. And I post these videos on Facebook. You can find my Facebook, Brian Hyder, BryanHyder. Every single day, there is another video. Some cops shooting somebody's dog, some cops shooting somebody's mom, kid. They're fucking ripping this old man out of his house and put his fucking arm out of place because he just had surgery because of one of those welfare checks. Every fucking day. They don't discriminate against nobody. If somebody files a fucking complaint, they're there with their guns and they fuck everybody up. Which place they found you guilty of trespass? I was found guilty in South Dakota. I believe it was both trespasses. I was trespassed twice or arrested twice from 3 buildings. I was arrested in the public safety building, which is the police department, and then I was arrested in the county administration building, which is where you get your car tags and the state's attorney's at. So they found me guilty on both of those. And the first arrest was because I refused to leave because I was there doing a video tour, and they'd already threatened me with arrest in other public buildings, and I wasn't given any redress to my rights to be there. So I stood on my rights and I got arrested. And then they took my phone, so I wasn't able to contact them. So I went there to redress the grievance because there was no expiration date on the trial. So how was I supposed to know if the trespass was 1 day or for the rest of my life? So I went there to speak to the state's attorney, which is handling the case. And they said, I'm trespassed. I need to leave. I can't talk to them about it. So they arrested me for that. So that was more than a year ago. And I was found guilty on both of those. Those are the ones. In Arizona, me and Arizona auditor got a case at the post office that's unrelated. But the two that I was found guilty for today was the South Dakota arrest at the police department and the county administration building. Yeah, they've been making me jump through hoops. And it was all these hoops that I was jumping through. They're telling me, go here, go there. You can file a complaint here, there. And then when I go there to file a complaint, they say I can't file a complaint. So then I go up the chain of command. It's all these hoops. They said that I kept going back to these buildings and addressing the same complaint that they already addressed, but they never addressed the complaint. I was asking for a complaint form and they wasn't giving it to me. And then it took 2 or 3 tries to get the complaint form. And then after I got the complaint form, then the complaint form request stopped. So it's not, they were saying I was going back and requesting the same things after they've already addressed it. And they keep everything so vague and they offered no proof. And it was just their word against mine. And I had my video there to prove it. And it still didn't matter. The video had made no difference. Ghost is experienced with filing complaints. Well, come here and file a complaint. Dare you. Show me how it's done. Johnny 50 needs professional assistance. Yeah, he's asking for donations for an attorney. I don't think anybody out there that does this needs to be asking for attorneys to clean up their mess. If they go out there and get arrested, they need to know how to defend themselves. And that's what I done. I expected to get a fair trial. I did not get a fair trial. Now I got to step it up and I got to learn how to file an appeal now. So I guess if you're going to go out there and record the cops, you need to know how to defend yourself or pay for your own lawyer. It's not up to the community to buy you a lawyer because you got arrested. I see that shit over and over and over again. I think it's just an excuse to ask for money and get people to feel sorry for them. I don't believe in that shit. So I guess if you want to go out there and record, you need to be a fucking professional at fucking defending your rights. You need to know how to defend yourself. You need to know how to file an appeal. You know how to file a mistrial. You need to know how to sue them. It's a lot to know. And you can't really expect everybody to know that, but that's why the public system, the public school system should be teaching us this stuff as teenagers in high school. Because there's a huge epidemic of this going on right now, and it's not getting any better. Have I contacted Governor Nome? Yes, I have. I wrote Governor Nome a letter a long time ago. I never got a response back. I wrote probably to over 100 people, either emails, letters, phone calls, and only the phone calls do I actually get a hold of somebody. If it's an email, they ignore it. If it's a letter, they don't respond. And if I call them, they at least, they're civil. They hear me out, and then they're like, "Well, I'll look into it. I'll get back to you," and they don't get back to me. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's gonna step on the toes of the blue line. Did I have a lawyer? No, I did not have a lawyer. I represented myself. There was 4 public defenders. They all withdrew. They were all pieces of shit. I never fired none of them. The first one I was trespassed from. The second one withdrew. As soon as he was assigned to the case, he didn't want nothing to do with it. The third one withdrew because I wrote the lawyer, I wrote the judge asking about a 180-day speedy trial that my lawyer was not explaining to me because I was past the 6 months. I didn't understand why I was still being held with charges after 180 days. And they didn't dismiss the charges after 180 days. So I was like, the whole time I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna get my phone back, charges be dismissed or whatnot. I had my trial within 6 months. It's over a year now. So after I hit that 6 months mark, then I asked my lawyer, and he's like, well, we shouldn't push the issue. It might upset the court. So I'm like, man, fuck that. I want to know why the fuck am I still being charged after 180 days? So I wrote the judge a letter, and then the fucking lawyer comes back with a fucking a breakdown of communication, so he withdrew. So then they gave me this fourth public defender, and he waited 2-3 months, ignoring all my phone calls, all my emails. He wouldn't tell me where his office was. I had no way of contacting this guy. And then I meet him at court finally, and I tell him, well, because we're in the courthouse, he wants to hide inside the courthouse because I can't record our interactions. And he didn't want to call me on the phone because I could record our conversations. So when we got to the courthouse, I said, well, let's go outside so we can talk because I need to record. So we go outside, I record. He knows I'm recording. There's no issue. He didn't say anything. And then as soon as we go inside the courthouse where he gets his special little protections, and I turn the camera off, and we're standing at the metal detectors. He gets in my face and says, I better never record him again. And then the police officers have to step between us because I'm getting all fucking pissed off and telling him, get the fuck out of my face. And I look like the bad guy. So then he withdrew because some kind of conflict from that shit. In perfect fucking sense that he had to withdraw. But that's the story of my 4 public defenders and why I didn't have no attorney. And I give a better defense to myself than an attorney would anyways. I had 2 witnesses there in the courtroom, and they watched the entire trial. They were the only ones in this whole town that gives a fuck. And they said I had a rock solid case. They were blown away. I put these fuckers on the spot. I asked perfectly good questions. They didn't know how to answer them. I made them look stupid as fuck. I did way better. In their opinion, they said that I did fucking awesome. And I feel like I did better than any lawyer would have done for me in this town. And I still lost. So having a lawyer doesn't have anything to do with this. President is supposedly giving $1,000 cash to workers who filed taxes. Well, I haven't worked or filed taxes in about 5 years now, so I ain't getting shit. That's news to me. I heard there was checks going out, but I didn't know it was just for people to file taxes, so I guess I'm shit out of luck. Thune or Senator Rounds? Yes, I did contact them. They are on my contact list. I do remember contacting them. I don't remember how because I contacted so many different people during the emails or through letters or whatnot, but I do remember those names. I did contact them, and I did not get a response. I don't know who else to contact. I've contacted the FBI. They're supposed to protect people in their civil rights complaints, and they wouldn't investigate because I had charges. They said I needed to beat the charges before they would investigate, and it's just a bullshit fucking loophole to avoid their accountability and responsibility. They don't want to help me out. They know I wasn't going to beat the charges. The judge won't allow me to beat the charges because then that's just going to open a whole fucking can of worms around here. So that's where I'm at right now. Where'd you go, Ghost? I need to file an appeal. I've never filed an appeal before. You know anybody that can help me out? I'm not saying that I want them to file the appeal for me. I can do my own work. I just have questions every now and then. I need to send a text, take 5 minutes of somebody's time, get a little bit of advice. Sometimes I run into a little jam. I don't know what I need to do. I'm not a moron. I don't need to be explained over and over and over like I don't get it. So I can do the work. It's just that I run into problems every now and then because I've never done this before. The law system is complicated. Yeah, I don't know. Do you know anybody that does appeals? Anybody in our community? Because our community is lacking a lot of help and knowledge. That's where they're getting us, where they could just run over our rights and they're like, what are we going to do? And they're right. What the fuck are we going to do? Not even lawyers. If we give them money, they're not going to help us out. They'll take our money. They ain't going to help us out. Our community does not have the help that we need. Our biggest help, Eric, is in jail. They've kind of crippled our whole movement by locking Eric up. Yeah, you're right, Eric. He's the one. Senator Rounds helped us. I will contact again. The problem is when can you access the buildings again? Finding you guilty does not solve that problem. That's right. I was never given any offer or ability to redress the trespass. They took my rights away, and that was that. There was nobody, no judge, no court date. I thought if I got arrested, then I would get a court date and I'd be able to address the trespass. And I was not able to address the trespass. They objected on everything that I mentioned about the legality of the trespass because it wasn't the trespass that was under question, or it wasn't the orders that was under question. It was my trespass was the only thing that they were there to discuss. that I was there. They told me to leave. Their right to their authority to tell me to leave was never questioned. I was not allowed to question it. Every single question it felt like I asked, they objected to it. And if you get this transcript, if I ever get it, it's gonna be over $1,000. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna pay for it. That last transcript broke me, but it's ridiculous. Nobody's gonna have the the fucking care to read this transcript. But if anybody ever does, there might be two fucking people out there that read this transcript and they be like, damn man, why the fuck did they object to that? And then the judge allowed it. They're obviously covering up over and over. That's what you're gonna tell yourself every time. Like, damn, that was a good question. No wonder they didn't want him to answer it. The whole fucking thing's a cover up. Absolute cover up. Senator Rounds. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to follow up on your advice. I'm going to contact him again. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget it. So Monday, I'm going to contact Senator Rounds. I want you to follow up with me. Email, Facebook, whatever it is. I'll prove to you that nobody wants to help me out. I'll follow up with your advice, and it's not going to take me anywhere. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's my savior. I don't know, but I'm going to follow up with it. So if you go back for sentencing, tell the judge you want an answer to that question. Yeah, I made it pretty clear that I wanted that answer, and they didn't answer it. If you can't put it on an end date on it until, whoop, where'd it go? Okay. If he can't put an end date on it, tell the judge you wish to appeal immediately. Ask clerk of courts for appeal. Yeah, the appeal. Yeah, I told him I didn't want to be sentenced today. I had that option because I want to appeal. And by the time sentencing rolls around, the appeal process has already expired. So you might be a little bit confused there that I cannot ask for an appeal at sentencing. By the time sentencing's up, then the appeal is expired. So the appeal is now, not at sentencing. Sent me an email. I appreciate that. I don't see it come through yet. Let me refresh my email. That probably caused me to buffer. I did not get an email. I do not have an email here. My email is Brian Hyder, BryanHyderaz @gmail.com. So if you send me an email there, we'll discuss whatever it is you want. Senator Rounds saved your son's life. 30 days to appeal. That is correct. I asked the clerk of courts for anything they had on the appeal process, and they gave me this right here. This is their instructions on the appeal process, and it's too long and it's too complicated for me to read it to you guys. I can barely understand it myself. It's full of law codes. I have to read the description, and then there's a law code. So then I have to stop and have to look up the law code, and then I have to read the next description, and then look up the next law code. So really, this thing, if it was full of the law codes, it would be like 3 times longer than it is. So there's a lot to learn to do an appeal. It's not simple. It's not simple at all. If it was simple, Ghost would already know how to do it. I know Ghost ain't no moron. But that's that. If anybody knows how to do an appeal, that's where I'm at. I need some guidance. I need some assistance, some advice. I need to come up with $1,000 for a transcript. You need a transcript for the appeal. I already know I'm gonna pay $1,000 for this transcript, and then the appeal is gonna be denied. I already know, but it's just how they fucking just drain you, drain all your fucking cash out, and when you run out of cash, you can no longer defend yourself because you can't buy transcripts. So that's that. And I requested to record. I filed a motion to record. They denied it. So I wish I could show you guys the video what happened today. It would have been flat out ridiculous. That's why they didn't allow me to record. They use the excuse that I have a platform and that I have published other stuff about the case on my channel, which is not illegal. There was no gag order. There was no reason why I couldn't publish any of it. But they said that my request had nothing to do with the purposes of recording. So they just denied it. In Arizona, they put in a request to record over there, and that one was actually approved. So Arizona is a little bit different. South Dakota is not transparent at all. Their records department will prove that. Do a records request for something, for a random police report, whatever. I'm going to put in another request for Mark Burgess police report. His case is over now. It's under appeal, so it's not exactly over, so I'm sure I'm going to get denied. But it's only a couple dollars to send a fax and request it, and I'm going to do it again. I'm not going to stop requesting that police report until I get it. I've seen the video. I know what happened, but I want to see what the cops said happened. Can you get the transcript free through Informa? I don't know. I'd have to Google that. I'm going to write that down too. When I finish this stream, I'm going to Google it because that would save $1,000 that I don't have. And I hate to ask the community to pay for anything because we shouldn't have to pay for a public service. And I don't want to feel like I'm asking for handouts from anybody because I'm just kind of against asking for handouts. When you get yourself in a problem, it's up to you to get it out and get yourself out of that problem. We help each other out if we can. But all I ask for is people to help me with education. I have a problem asking for people for money. I got my home for sale so that I can afford to pay for this stuff. And I've been stonewalled on the sale of my house. They must be in cahoots with the mayor. They all know who I am around here, and my place won't sell. That money would help me for transcripts, legal advice, trips to Denver, visits with Eric. All the help that I need, I can't get because they won't sell my place. I've been stonewalled on every avenue. It kicked your email back. All right. Yeah. We need access to justice. We don't have access to justice. We don't have access to the education. We have the law library, and I've been to the law library in Arizona. You're not allowed to record it, so you're not allowed to document it. You're not allowed to share your education. You're not allowed to share your experience. So you have to go there, and everybody that goes there, they have to learn on their own. We can't help each other. The law library is very complicated, and it seemed like when I went there, they already knew who we were, and they were not helpful at all. Security was standing there watching us the whole time, waiting for us to take our cameras out. I was there with the Arizona auditor. They thought we were just going to start taking pictures and they were going to jump on us. We never did. But it raises awareness to the staff there, and it puts it in the staff's head that we're a problem and they don't want to help us because they just have faith in the security there, and they figure that they have a reason to be standing there over us, watching us. They never do that to anybody else, but they were watching us. And then we were asking for help, and we didn't get no help. They're like, yeah, well, the computer's right there. Go figure it out. And I watched them, everybody else walking in the door. First thing they do, they walk up to these people, tell them what they need. They give them advice, redirect them where they need to go, what they need to look for. We didn't get none of that assistance at all. And I wasn't able to document it. So we have access to the law library, but we don't have access to the knowledge to understand how to understand the law library. It's not a very easy system. It should be very easy. They make it extremely complicated on purpose. I appreciate it, Kathleen. If you had it, you would help me. These are hard times for everybody, especially nobody could even work. Got the virus going around. Everybody's on lockdown. Everybody spent all their money on food, gas. Everybody's trying to take care of themselves. I understand that everybody's broke. Ain't nobody out there got $1,000 for no fucking transcript to give to the government. It's a public service that they should give to me because it's my case. If somebody else wants it, maybe they can charge them. But this is my case for my defense, and they won't allow me to have it. Not without $1,000. I didn't get the estimate on it yet, but I did file the request for the transcript, and it was at the end of the day by the time the trial was over. So they're not going to get back to me on Monday, or not until Monday. So I'll get the estimate on how much it's going to cost, and I'm expecting it to be about $1,000. I thought the trial was going to be longer actually, and it might be more than $1,000, but I bet it's $1,000. They kind of pushed it at the end to fucking hurry it up. So I see an email here, and that is you, Soccer Mom. I will read that after I close this stream out, and I'll email you back ASAP. Got 7 people in here. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the 20 thumbs up. I appreciate the 2 witnesses that showed up today and saw my trial for their own eyes. They were the only 2 people in this whole town that gives a shit about my case. They understand how I've been completely stonewalled, joked through the mud. Rights don't matter. The only thing that matters is the blue line. Obey or die. Well, nobody rules if nobody obeys. And I don't think they should be ruling because they're just a bunch of idiots. College graduated fucking morons. Professional liars. They're trained to take advantage of the public. That's what they went to college for. To rule others. I don't respect that. I think there should be authority, but I think it needs to be equal and fair. That's what I was raised to believe, that this country is for, to be equal and fair. And it's the best country in the world, but I don't know what the fuck happened. It ain't being proven to me. But I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to reply to that email. I appreciate y'all being here. Anybody can email me. You want to contact me? It's better to email me than it is to comment in the video comments, because this shit complicates the fucking, I don't know. I don't understand it. But yeah, email me. I'm glad y'all was here. 3 fucking hours. All right. I'm going to email you, Soccer Mom. Thanks, everybody.